How's everybody doing this evening? This is your boy, Mr. E, boss of the Southside Bosses, and you already know you are listening to...
This is the Revolutionary Hour.
Already, you know this is the Revolutionary Hour here on BOSS Radio, baby, where we bring y'all all types of knowledge, current events, economics. We talk about it all. So that's definitely what we're going to be doing tonight. We're going to be talking about the status quo of Black America. Now, if you listen to my podcast before, you know I don't necessarily like the race words. I don't like race because race was created by people who did not want to see us grow. They did not want to see us blossom. They didn't want to see us. They wanted to hold us down. So what they did was they put labels on us in order to put us in a certain category so we could stay in that category and not succeed. So what do we do about that? Well, we're going to discuss that tonight as we discuss the status quo of Black America. So I'm glad that y'all decided to join us, and we will be right back after a word from one of our sponsors as we discuss what we can do, what is going on with us, and what we can do in order to fix that scenario. While we're waiting for us to come back, we have a word from one of our sponsors, and then we have some music from your boy Glenn Washington, a reggae legend in the building. So make sure y'all tune in, turn up, and zone out, because you already know you are listening to
BOSS Southside Radio.
Skin and hair care makes the perfect gifts.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, especially when it comes in all natural forms for Southside Beauty Care. Our gift boxes include natural and raw black soap from Africa, hair and beard oil that will make your hair strong and shiny, beard balm with essential oils such as cedarwood, hoe wood, and more to style that manscape on your face.
I could use that.
Our signature skincare cream designed to quench your skin's thirst and make it shine like Bruce Leroy in The Last Dragon.
Did you just show your age?
Get your box today at SouthsideBeautyCare.com.
I need more time in your life. I've got to have a fighting chance to make things right. Baby, remove all the heartache and strife. And right now all I'm thinking of is kids and wife. Dewdrops of love on me now, baby, I can't get free. Can't believe I'm not dreaming, this is reality. There's never a time I'm thinking that I don't think of you, baby. So deeply in love I'm sinking, I don't know what to do. This love is so high, we can't get over it, no, no. With feelings so wide, we can't get around. When we trust in the powers of the Most High, we'll be satisfied, baby. Forsaking all confusion mixed with foolish pride. For the rest of my years I'll be here, standing by your side, and always doing good to those who would take me for a ride. This love is so high, we can't get over it, no, no. With feelings so wide, we can't get around. A man needs to be at home to see his children grow, exalting truths and rights and watch the vibes flow. Now if I should lose this feeling, I won't know what to do, 'cause I'm really not one of those guys just passing through. I need more time in your life. I've got to have a fighting chance to make things right. Now, baby, remove all the heartache and strife. And right now, all I'm thinking of is just kids and wife. No, no, no. I need more time. Ooh, na, 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 na. Oh, na 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 na, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This love is so high, we can't get over it. No, no. We're feeling so wide, we can't get around. 2 drops of love on me now, baby, I can't get free. I can't believe I'm not dreaming, this is reality. There's never a time I'm thinking that I don't think of you, baby. So deeply in love I'm sinking, I don't know what to do. I need more time in your life, I've got to have
BOSS, Southside Ball.
Do you think we have gotten farther? Over 100 years ago, the dynamics of the so-called black family was shaky from the outside, but the foundation was almost solid. There were black Wall Streets, black professionals, black-owned companies and banks. Black communities recycled the dollar in their own neighborhood. Blacks even had a better understanding of economics, and black love was seemingly everywhere. Now, I say almost because 100 years later, we see the outside storms have done its toll on not only the building, but the black community was in, but also it damaged the foundation. The marriage to divorce rates are in shambles. All racial ethnic groups have more marriages than divorces. Other race women, including Asian American, Indian, Alaska Native, and multiracial women, had the highest marriage to divorce ratio, 3.0, meaning that for every 3 women that married in 2018, for every woman, there was 3 women that got married for every 1 woman who divorced. The second highest ratio was found among Hispanic women, which was 2.5, followed by white women, 2.1, and black women, 1.6. Now, get this. Black women were the only group that had a higher divorce rate than marriage rate, with nearly 31%. So, with 31 divorces per 1,000 married women. Sorry, I had a little interruption, but we're good. Per 1,000 married women aged 15 and up, and only 17.3 marriages per 1,000 unmarried women. And since the father is not in the household anymore, our children suffer as well. Even though it's true that, according to the CDC, 58% of black fathers live with 1 or more of their children, and an even larger majority, 72.7% of black fathers, talk with their children every day. But when you compare the 46% of black households with only a mother to the 21% of all households having only the mother, you can see why black children are becoming more and more like gangster rappers than bankers and lawyers. Which I would be remiss to not mention the education system does not educate, but yet train through animal husbandry. Please look that up. And economic development, well, let's say the media throws up our small successes to make us think we have advanced, but it seems the numbers don't lie. White families continue to far outpace black families in wealth. The typical black household had less than 1/10 the net worth of the typical white household in both 1968 and in 2016. In 1968, whites made a median household of $70,786 a year, while blacks were at $6,674 a year. Now, in 2016, the white median household was at $149,703 a year, while the black household was only at $13,024. Now, compare that to the dollar having an average inflation rate of 4.02% per year between 1968 and today. That will produce a cumulative price increase of 740%. This means that today's prices are 8.4 times higher than average prices since 1968, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics Consumer Price Index. So while the black family household income only increased by a little more than 1 times itself, we are still being outbidded. And only getting worse, with the inflation rate at 8.6%. Now, as for health, compared to their white counterparts, African Americans are generally at a higher risk for heart diseases, stroke, cancer, asthma, influenza, pneumonia, diabetes, and HIV and AIDS. According to the Office of Minority Health, part of the Department of Health and Human Services. So tonight, I have gathered 3 intelligent individuals who will help us look at what we can do to finally rectify what we are seeing as fact detrimental to the black community. We will be discussing the status quo of Black America, the mentality of Black America, and economics in the Black community. We also will be discussing how we can fix these issues, because we don't want to just bring you the problems. We want to bring you solutions as well. So tonight I will be joined by Tez the Immortal, a conscious rapper, Shakana Juanita L, a shamanic Reiki healer, and Elgon Jael Bey, an entrepreneur, to bring you information that you can utilize to be able to get out of the situation that we are in. So stay tuned to Revolutionary Hour, and we'll be back after this brief break with a word from one of our sponsors, as well as music from our up-and-coming reggae interviewee, Anthony Why Not, on BOSS Radio. This here is Motherland by Anthony Why Not.
All Jamaican, Canadian, we all are one. Africa is my motherland, my fatherland, my grannyland, and grandpa land. If you are Ghanaian, Nigerian, we all are one. Send a one year global straight across the continent. People are suffer in a one room apartment. Some no got no money and no job and them a parent. Landlord a terrorize them in a the tenement. Economical crisis, some a run away to Canada and USA. Some sick, some poor, some them can't go no way. Circumstances lead some to stray. Africa, my motherland, my fatherland, my grannyland, and grandpa land. If you are Ghanaian, Somalian, we all are one. Africa is my motherland, my fatherland, my grannyland, and grandpa land. All Jamaican, American, we all are one. Hope shelter closing down 2018. We gonna have a lot of homeless human beings. 124 men will be forced to the street. Salvation Army, one who do it. We need a contribution from the rich to the poor. Poverty, we just can't take it no more. Who no sick and can't work, get some employment. Cause homeless people don't got no full enjoyment. Africa, my motherland, my fatherland, my grannyland, and grandpa land. If you are Ghanaian, Somalian, we all are one. Africa is my motherland, my fatherland, my grannyland, and grandpa land. All Jamaican, Canadian, we all are one. So many die by suicide bombing with nuclear. Syria and ISIS them in a warfare. Another genocide, another homicide. Some yet the violence, but some don't care. Africa, the place I wanna be. So we have to face reality. Time now to set your people free. Cause they don't wanna live in memory. Africa, my motherland, my fatherland, my grannyland, and grandpa land. If you are Ghanaian, Nigerian, we all are one. Africa is my motherland, my fatherland, my grannyland, and grandpa land. If you are Ghanaian, Somalian, we all are one. Send a one year global straight across the continent. People are suffer in a one room apartment. Some don't got no money and no job and they.
This is the Revolutionary Hour.
It's Garage Records. Why not? For my baby, my baby. Whoa, yeah. Girl, I like you from the moment I saw you. Put a spotlight on you. Girl, I wanna be with you. Girl, I like you from the moment I saw you. Put a spotlight on you. Girl, I wanna be with you. Can I have your name and your number and booty size, address and your photo and shoe size, date of birth so I can give you a prize. Every day me want you right by my side. Hairstyle bash, girl and your clothes at top price. Me love your sexy body and your two dreamy eyes. Girl a chat and just a make a bag of nice. Girl you hot and that me realize. Girl I like you from the moment I saw you. Put a spotlight on you. Girl I wanna be with you. Girl, I like you from the moment I saw you. Put a spotlight on you. Girl, I wanna be with you. Girl, you hot like 21 fireside. Shake it, shake up your own backside. Girl, no look good, tell her duck and go hide. Missy fat, missy buff, so me can't stay wide. In the party, in the club, just wine, girl. Missy black, missy brown, missy white, girl. Missy slim, fat, sexy and round. Make me spend half me English pound. Girl, I like you from the moment I saw you. Put a spotlight on you. Girl, I wanna be with you. Girl, I like you from the moment I saw you. Put a spotlight on you. Girl, I wanna be with you. Caress me with your charm and turn me on, hug me up when me cool and keep me warm. Just like a baby, you wrap me in your arm. Woman, I woulda miss you if you gone. Girl, me love how you are gone, me love how you perform. The sexy body where you got the things you have on. Your perfume scent that you all do you gone. Woman, I reminiscing from you gone. Girl, I like you from the moment I saw you. Put a spotlight on you. Girl, I wanna be with you. Girl, I like you from the moment I saw you. Put a spotlight on you. Girl, I wanna be with you. Can I have your name and your number and booty size, address and your photo and shoe size, date of birth so I can give you a prize. Every day me want you right by my side. Hairstyle bash, girl and your clothes at top price. Me love your sexy body and your two dreamy eyes. Girl a chat and just a make a bag of nice. Girl you hot and that me realize. Girl I like you from the moment I saw you. Put a spotlight on you. Girl I wanna be with you.
It's Anthony White Not, baby. We got one more from him, and then when we come on, we gonna get it poppin'. This is Born Jamaican here on BOSS Radio, baby.
This is the revolutionary album.
And me proud to be a born Jamaican. Me proud of where me come from. And me proud to be a born Jamaican. Enough man no proud of where them come from. But me proud to be a Hanoverian. Anyway, I manage just a man no matter where you come from. But me proud to be a country bunkan. Enough man no proud of where them come from. But me proud to be a Hanoverian. Anyway, I manage just a man no matter where you come from. But me proud to be a country bunkan. I'm been through the hills and the swamp, buckle towards fire lamp. Put fire food, cooking with me food, me no ramp. With a water, me drink just to quench my thirst. If thanks to Father God, I'm not the worst. Me love the river and me love the sea, but most of all, me love me flour dumplings and fish and ackee. Yam and banana with the coconut jelly. Me miss Jamaica badly. Enough man no proud of where them come from. But me proud to be a born Jamaican. Anyway, a man is just a man no matter where you come from. But me proud to be a country bunkan. Enough man no proud of where them come from. But me proud to be a born Jamaican. Anyway, a man is just a man no matter where you come from. But me proud to be a born Jamaican. Lucy hand over me born, Moby me grow. Can't weep what you never saw. Well, if a tribulation and I man go through and only sing Friends College I know. Some man born a St. Mary and I said them born a town. Laugh off of them like clown. Cause if your neighbor string no cut a KPH a Spanish town, that mean you is a town come around. No man no proud of where them come from. But me proud to be a Hanoverian. Anyway, a man is just a man no matter where you come from. But me proud to be a country bunkan. No man no proud of where them come from. But me proud to be a Hanoverian. Anyway, a man is just a man no matter where you come from. But me proud to be a country bunkan. Oh, them is a fake wash over MCs. Can't put your foot them over stone man fences. Right now me argument gets intensive. Them not go like me cause we talk the business. Some man said them ban a town and them no ban under the clock. Well a country them come from send from, but me proud to be a country bunkan. Enough man no proud of where them come from, but me proud to be a man Jamaican. Anyway, a man is just a man no matter where you come from, but me proud to be a country bunkan. I'm been through the hills and the swamp, buckle towards fire lamp, with fire full cooking with me food, me no ramp with my water, me drink just to quench my thirst. If thanks to Father God, I'm not the worst. Me love the river and me love the sea, but most of all me love me flour dumplings and fish and ackee. Yam and banana with the coconut jelly. Me miss Jamaica badly. Love man no proud of where them come from, but me proud to be a born Jamaican. Anyway, a man is just a man no matter where you come from, but me proud to be a country bunkan. Love man no proud of where them come from, but me proud to be a born Jamaican. Anyway, a man is just a man no matter where you come from, but me proud to be a country bunkan.
That was your boy Anthony White Knot. Make sure y'all tune in with us July 27th when we going live with them. He'll be on the phone with us, but we're going to be going live, and you're going to be able to catch up with him with more music, find out exactly where he's going to be performing at and all. But before we get started, we do got to please the lawyers, because I don't want the lawyers to get upset with me talking some, man, Eric, why you don't be putting that disclaimer on there, man? You got to put that disclaimer on there if I'm going to protect you, man. So let me go ahead and protect myself by playing this radio disclaimer. Then after that, we going to get it popping with some knowledge, you heard me? BOSS Radio, Southside Bosses, its owners and associates take no responsibility for the opinions or statements made by the talk show host or their guests. Statements or show topics are not necessarily the beliefs of the site or the radio station, and opinions between talk show hosts may conflict. This site does not endorse anything as the truth. That you will have to judge for yourself. But we try to speak the truth on the owner's behalf and reserve the right to question the supposed truth. In this time of misinformation, government-controlled media, and government corruption, it is sometimes hard to get to the truth, but we must try. It is not our intention to libel, discriminate, make hate, or annoy anyone. We believe that it is our constitutional First Amendment right of free speech to voice our opinions, and our duty to the Constitution and country to expose the truth. This site takes no responsibility for the opinions of others and the postings of comments in chat rooms or forum posts. Already. So you already know we're waiting on our guests to show up, but we can go ahead and get it started. Hold on 1 second. Try. There we go. We got one person joining us right now. Let's go ahead and see who we got. Who we have in the building this evening?
This is Shakana.
Hi, Shakana. How you doing? I'm sorry, I should have gave you the pound sign after the code number. I do apologize about that. I do apologize, but I'm glad we was able to get you on. So, welcome to Revolutionary Hour on BOSS Radio. I want to give you a little bit of opportunity. We already are going live. If you want to introduce yourself and tell people about you, what you do, and how they can follow you and get to know you.
Sure, no problem. First, thank you so much for inviting me. My name is Juanita. Hold on, my daughter. Give me just a second.
I understand. We got to make sure that the seeds are taken care of. I was just letting everybody know that's listening right now to make sure their children are present so that they can get some of this knowledge as well.
Yes. Oh, it's definitely going to be helpful for the children.
Exactly.
All right. So the name that my mother gave me is Juanita. However, went through a name change. My name is Shakana Juanita Moses L.
Moses.
And,
love it.
Let's see. Yeah, thank you. All right. So I am a mom of 5. I'm a 3-time all-natural bodybuilding champion, a cognitive behavioral therapy practitioner, a fitness trainer, meditation instructor, and shamanic Reiki healer. I basically help people to feel, to get to a place where they are liberated. So I put all those things together, and I am in inner liberation. The way to reach out to me is through, you can reach out to me through Instagram which my Instagram handle is simply SYMPLI Excellence. I can also be reached through my business number, which is 973-818-1847, or I can also be emailed at simplyexcellence@gmail.com, SYMPLI
All right. So we're gonna get more into your shamanic healing, but I want, I've only read those terms. So can you pronounce that again? Shamanic. What is the R word again?
Reiki.
Reiki.
Two levels of heal. Two levels of healing.
Okay, perfect. So we definitely are going to talk to you more about that so we could get a very in-depth understanding of not only what it is, but also how we can help us in this community now, And before we go further, I want to also introduce the next person that came on right now. How are you doing this evening, sir?
It's all right. This is L. How you doing, Eddie?
Oh, we doing good, man. We always about dropping some knowledge, so I'm glad that you decided to join me and Shekinah on this episode tonight, because both of you, I already know, have some deep knowledge that can definitely help us. But since the audience don't really know who you are yet, I want you to introduce you and what you do and how they can be able to find you in order to, get some more knowledge that you have.
All right. Well, I appreciate. First, I'd like to say Ashe to ancestors known and unknown, to make sure that this broadcast and all of the information gets into the hearts of the family. Ashe. We with the Morris Traveler and the Petty House and Infused Leaf here in the location known as Texas. And here we do beauty consultants. We involved in we'll say financial literacy. We also help individuals with blood type diets programs. I got a couple of books that I've written. I'm trying not to do a whole lot of background other than saying, we at thepettyhouse.com. We're located in Corpus Christi, Texas. You can find us online. There we make soaps, lotions, things of that nature from our organic sources. We got a video coming out that we're going to be giving information about tax exemptions and mortgage loans and things like that to help folk out there who are having trouble during these times that we're getting ready to get into. But the more so is that we're here to support all families of all sorts. And later on, we get that information, everybody specifically that can get into it. But I just want to do a little small synopsis of that, and let's move on into and get it back to the floor. And I can get into more about us as we go further into the discussion.
All right, man. I'm glad that you decided to join us, because it sounds like both of you have a well of knowledge that we definitely need to disperse to the people. So, but before we get into that, actually, I want to introduce this next segment that I want to talk about in this show by asking Shekinah, why did you feel you needed the name change?
Well, it was actually pretty spiritual for the portion of the Shekinah portion, is because I was born with the name Juanita, and the only people that called me Juanita was the school system and some friends, but mostly everyone that knew me called me Shekinah, and I really didn't know what the name actually meant. And when I found when I found out what the name meant, it actually comes from a cross. It's called the Shekinah cross. And my family didn't even know what they were even calling me. It means God with us. And it's actually connected to the Inca tribe also, which are shamans. And these particular shamans are the same shaman, one of the shamans, and healed me with the 9 shamanic Munaiki rites. And she is connected with the Inca tribe. The Inca tribe was actually also connected with the Moors. So there's like a whole, and spiritually, they actually came to me spiritually and opened my eyes to these things. So I knew that, and through a dream that asked me, "What is your name?" And when I was asked my name, I said Juanita at first, and they said I couldn't enter. And then finally, when I said Shekinah, they said that I was allowed in to this special place. So that's one of the reasons why I changed my name. And the other portion is adding on the L to my name. I believe that's because I basically was claiming my nationality as a Moorish American, Asiatic.
All right, that's what I like to hear. See, when I know that the topic of discussion for this evening, I entitled it "The Status Quo of Black America," but that does not mean that we will be like pretty much claiming a status of black on here. Reason why I wanted to name it that is because we all know that of the storyline of how we became black. And for those who don't know how we became black, I really do suggest that you look at our previous episodes on Revolutionary Hour. That way you can get a full understanding. But the short run of it is we was labeled that. We wasn't always that. We was labeled that. If you ever watch Roots, you'll see where we had, were in there, Kunta Kinte he had to change his name to Toby. You know, so when they didn't just change our names, they changed our nationality, they changed our status, they changed our label. And in that case, you are reclaiming that status. Isn't that correct? I'm actually directing that question to both of y'all. Y'all are actually reclaiming that status that was taken away from us by coming up with your own direction in life and your own appellation, and hence changing your name. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. See, so with that knowledge being understood, what do you think, what kind of releases do you think that do for you?
Well, who's going to take the floor?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, El, we'll go ahead and let you go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we don't I want to make sure the goddess here always has the opportunity. Well, you know, the main thing is looking back over, since we've been disconnected from everything in this land, you know, this is just one position that we call, as we have the study group that'll be coming up, that called Stand on the Square. And what happens is that we've been conditioned to believe that we're descendants only from slaves, and that we're disconnected from this aboriginal land that we're actually on now. That's why they can say in Hurricane Katrina, they can say we were refugees. And how can you be refugees if you're from here? So when they call you a refugee, you got to understand what those things mean, the etymology of that. And that's meaning that you are a group without a nation state. So they're taking, you know, like the Haitians may come over from their land over here in the United States to turn them away. We're here, they can't get rid of you. You know why they haven't sent any of us back is because we're all from here in the first place. And so this is just one step at reclaiming your heritage and getting rid of the name that's the best names that's been placed upon us. And this is just that first step towards that. I mean, it gets further than that, but the name change is going along the lines of that.
And I hear that. I love that. Now, you know, just the concept of reclaiming what is yours should be something that everybody should be more in tune with, should be more pressed for, especially the so-called black man and woman of the United States. Now, I want to go ahead and move a little further into the show. We was actually waiting on one other brother, but I believe he'll tune in whenever, and he'll just jump in whenever he can. So let's go ahead and move forward. I want to start with Shekinah. How would you explain the status quo of so-called Black America as it stands today?
I would say that we currently are the way I see it and the way I try to explain it to my children is that we really need to is that right now we're currently in a state where we're coming out of being blind. I think that we are opening up more. A lot of our children are actually seeing what's going on, and they're actually changing the way they see the world. They're more open to what's going on right now, and actually pushing it away from them. Like my children, we were at an event yesterday, and they were speaking their mind on America and how they actually really felt. And it was really sad the way that they felt. They felt as if they needed to get away from here. They felt as if they needed to leave. And we're going to have a conversation with them on the Declaration of Independence and some other things that we need to speak with them about. But right now, I think that we're in a place where we have an opportunity to move forward, but our eyes have to really be open, and we can listen more to our children. We can also there's just so much around this.
Right.
It's just so much. It's so emotional, and it's so much around it. There's so many things that's being done to stop us from being who we can be optimally. And it's in our food, it's in the television, the propaganda. Marcus Garvey talked about propaganda. It's in everything. Is really just causing us not to be at our most optimal level. And I think that is affecting everything that's around us. And the only way that we're actually going to be able to resolve that is actually by thinking again. Becoming more in the world but not of it, separating ourselves, being able to claim our nationality, or choosing to claim our nationality, choosing to go in a different direction and not following what the crowd is doing, closing our ears off, because the more we allow the propaganda in, the more it's going to continue to affect our homes. The more we're going to be connected to, without them saying, but the more we are going to be still connected, to slavery, if we don't change on purpose. That's just my opinion.
I hear that, that makes so much sense. I hear that you alluded to the slavery. I want to address this question to L. What about this? They said slavery. Of course, slavery ended over 100 years ago, right? I mean, there's no way that we could be still in slavery today, right? Or is that wrong?
Mental.
Well, the fact of the matter is we still in slavery today. And it hadn't changed. And like Dr. Claude Anderson has spoke, for those who know about Dr. Anderson, he's made one statement I always thought, it's been 150 years and we haven't moved one iota. We're still less than 1% of the 99% that hold this country. And this land is ours. And the reason that is it's a lot of reasons, like the sister said, but the way that we're approaching things in our family here is we have to look at the practicality of things. We've been pressed with religion, and so all our things, all our understanding, and all our approaches to situations come in God will work it out, or we just we am somebody, and this type of thing. Well, those days are over. That was the '60s. That was for the time for those marches. And for those things to be in those places get us to where we are today. And all those things are beautiful and wonderful, but we have taken a large another step back, and everyone knows that from the '60s movement that integration wasn't good, although its principle was for us to move forward as a society, and that was great. But look what happened. Before we had our own everything, beauty salons, restaurants, buses. We had all these things ourselves. Now we don't have anything as a group, as a community. And then we have all these other folks who come in from all different parts of the world and come into our neighborhoods and use us. Okay, granted. The other problem is that our folks don't support each other, because why? That's a slave mentality. We can't help each other because Ball don't get mad at us as we do. So what we do is rip each other down. We don't support each other as we should. Now, what can we do to change these things? The first thing is that we must realize that this is a whole schism. This is a whole system that's been put together to put us where we are. This is done on purpose.
Right.
And everyone needs to understand that. Your condition, and I want to give you a real life situation. Excuse me. The condition that people are in is not just because, well, okay, I didn't go to college, so I didn't get the job that my grandparents wanted me to have, or I don't live in the right neighborhood, so I don't have the best food choices. Well, these things are done on purpose. These are not done by accident. You don't have a garden in your backyard, maybe because you don't have the facilities to do so. You live in the city. I live in the country. But the seeds are changed. They're held by corporations to what we call terminator seeds. The water is already poisoned. Mm-hmm. All this stuff is a system that's already there. Okay, so we're dealing with a situation where, what do we do? And we need practical, real-life situations. No theories, no religious, marches and carrying on. We need to do what each one of us do. So I don't want to talk about the rich and the famous and how and what they can do, but the everyday person who trying to eat and survive every day, that's the real people that we're talking to, because those are people that's really feeling. Those people who have to eat at the local, Dollar General. I don't want to shoot out no names like that. That'd be the last one, because I don't want to give no plugs for anything like that. But you understand where I'm going. Everyone can't do it in theory. You have to deal with what you really have to deal with in life. And until we accept things like that these things are some are our fault, and some of the position that we were placed in was placed in not by demand, but by our own sisters and brothers who look like. And we need to understand that. And this is the part of this study group that we're getting into that's going to be standing on your square, and we're going to really give you practical stuff about your situation. Everyone's different, so everything doesn't apply to everyone. But slavery still exists, and it's in our minds, and it's in a system that we're in, and this is what we need to really be talking about. What do we do to maneuver through this situation? I clear the floor.
Okay. Now, you know what? I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I definitely agree with what he's saying. And we're keeping ourselves in this place. And there are ways for us to be able to, there's a lot of little things that we can do in order to move forward. And some of these things will actually wind up saving us money. Well, let's say a lot of people, they spend tons of money just per week on coffee. Coffee calcifies the pineal gland. If they took that money that they were using on, that some people are using on coffee, and instead purchase, a better quality water, it would actually be less than the amount that they spend on coffee on a weekly basis. With eating more fruits and vegetables, going to and supporting your local farmers market. If you spend money at the farmers market, it's way cheaper, and you're going to get way more things from the farmers market than you actually would in our regular supermarket stores. Going online and learning how to cook your fruits and vegetables. Cook your vegetables. Finding different fun meals for the family to come together and to do. Another thing is learning how to meditate, because when we learn how to meditate, it's going to help us to connect and to have clarity. We have these downloads that we'll get when we are learning how to meditate. Meditation, for what I've found, it helps me to be accountable. So all those things that the brother is saying, with it being our fault, and we're still continuing it, and we're still in this place, helping us learning how to be more accountable, us learning how to be present, how to hear the words that are coming out of our mouths, to see if we're honest, see if we are true. Meditation actually helps with that, helping us to actually hear clearer our higher self more than our lower self, or understand that our lower self is not necessarily a bad thing. It's to help us to see ourselves, and then we allow the higher self to take over. But learning how to meditate, us being more calmer, us being able to hear more and actually being able to see what really is actually going on. That the homes are broken up. Making sure that we are lifting up, our kings inside of, the men inside of our home, speaking to our men in a different way, lifting them up, speaking to our young ladies in a different way, lifting them up. And something that I learned is that having us to have confidence in who we are. I think that a big portion of that is just like the brother was saying. We had all these businesses. I'm looking at something, and I'm looking at I'm looking at the Holy Quran for the Moorish Science Temple of America, and it says these are the Moabites, the Hamatites, the Canaanites who were driven out of the land of Canaan by Joshua and received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle in their portion of Egypt. In later years, they formed themselves kingdoms. So it's like no matter where we were, and even though we messed up, and we've messed up big, even though we messed up, we were moved out of these places because we were no longer in a place where we were actually self-governing. People were removing us because of that. So even though we were doing these things, and yes, we have to come from these things, we need to evolve from these things. We also need to remember that we had so much, and no matter where we went, our creativity helped us to level up, brought us in these beautiful places, and helped us to build these kingdoms. So this is why we're made to forget who we are, because once we remember who we are, once we drink the better water, and we get the fluoride out of our food, we're eating better, we're meditating, we're removing, we're working on being in the world but not of it, and we're lifting ourselves, and we're actually working on our lower selves and lifting them higher, and then we'll be in a place where we can be trusted to self-govern. And not only that, but then we'll remember that we have the ability to create kingdoms inside of us. Everywhere we went, we created kingdoms. Wherever we went, we did great things. And this is why we must remember who we are, and why we have to work on our lower self and pull us higher.
That's real. That's beautiful. I couldn't have said it no better than that. I gotta applaud both of y'all on how y'all like discern that, because a lot of people don't understand exactly what it is that we are facing right now. They think that, a lot of people they think that, okay, it's just the psychological war games called racism and so on and so forth. But it seemed it was something bigger than that. But I think that one of the problems is that, like El said about what Dr. Clark Anderson said, we haven't moved not one iota. We gained civil rights in 1968. Well, the typical black household had less than 1/10 of the net worth of the typical white household in both 1968 and in 2016. But you hear these black leaders in these churches or these lawyers and so on and so forth tell our people so many stories or so many solutions to these problems, but we aren't seeing these actually solvable problems being solved. Why do you think that these black leaders have so much control over the black congregation or the black community like this?
Who's on the floor?
Oh, El, we'll go.
Okay.
We'll go with El. We'll go with you first. I'm sorry.
Yes.
No, that's all right. I just want to, like I said, I want to make sure the sister, everybody get out there. Listen. Okay, when we get into talking about that particular subject right there, and that's what we as folk, skin folk here, don't want to look at and address. I'm one of these, man. I'm bringing it to you for real. We've been sold out by our own. It ain't always the man. I mean, I'm not saying everybody in every organization is wrong. Because there's a lot of good folk, and most of the time there's a lot of good folk involved in it, but the leadership is the one that's driving the car. And they driving us right off the cliff, and they jump out and parachute out while we go over the cliff. And they making us feel, again, we're getting back to religion, we're getting back to theories and all those type of things. When these big organizations, churches, mainly in our community, is church, they don't pass back. You don't see anything going on in the neighborhood. They got the power to influence. They got the power to make purchases. They got the power to get groups together to form, maybe an investment group, or even, it's multiple things we can do. But it's not happening. Now, why is it not happening? Because they don't want that. They're getting paid not to do that. They're getting paid, and then people, and our folks are starving for so much money, or they have this lifestyle, or this lack, and then we have this what we call we're looking for a savior. Okay, so we'll pay for the savior, we'll pay this person, and these first people are taking and run off with it. And what the religion say? Oh, you got to forgive them. Die. As we said in the military, you kill them all and let God sort them out. Well, that's the theory of these going under. We've been sold out by our own people. I mean, we got to face that. I'm not saying that the man don't have the system is the man. So we even want to put that on like a black and white issue. It's not. It's a system. And the system is applied to the society. And we just happen to be in this community, and we getting hit with the wrench over here. And there's others who getting hit with the wrench also. But we don't focus on them because that's not our issue. Our issue is our own. We have the biggest economic foothold in the world just here in the United States or in Turtle Island or here in North America alone. And we don't utilize that. We use it explicitly and very selfishly. That's the problem. We're being selfish people, and that's our problem in the past. So we still ain't learned nothing yet. And then, like the sister said, if you go back in the history and you look at Moses, I mean, we can go back further. We go to Samaria. We go all the way back. We've always been here. We ain't never just got here. Okay, so we ain't just got over here on those slave ships. Because if that's the case, where the ships at? Anybody know the slave ships at? No. Because it ain't never been none, because you always been here.
That's real.
Okay, so let's just get that out the way. We're not descendants from slaves. We're descendants from this planet. We belong to this planet. We have been poor caretakers of this planet, and we're still doing it. And these people are perpetuating that, and we're falling for it, whether it's the entertainment, whether it's the food processor, that we just not looking at the past. We think that old school ways of healing, like this last issue that you just went through, we had friends that said, oh, one of these movie stars are going to get, the shot, I'm going to go get it too. It's like, what are you talking about? You're not doing any research. This is our problem. It's us. And I'm just here to tell you, it's us. But the way we fix that is we got to lay it on the table right here. You got to understand, it's our fault. Let's not quit blaming everybody else. Let's look at our own self first, and let's stand in our own square, and let's fix ourselves, and we going to fix the rest of them, believe that. Everybody else get taken care of. But we can't take care of ourselves trying to blame it on somebody else. There are systems, there are documents, there are things that are in this system that we can utilize. But what do? We sell you the stuff and then don't tell you how to use it. We send you in the court and don't tell you what you need to do. So you go in there and you get lacerated, and then you come back and you say the black people failed. Because they don't read. We don't get together as a group. We don't study it. I want to give people real solutions to these issues that we have. And that's what the study group was all about, standing in the square.
Okay.
I hear the floor.
And I love that. Shekinah, do you want to add on anything to that?
Yes, I definitely do. I completely agree. Thank you again for allowing me to be a part of this. I really do appreciate it. I'm actually, let's say, about 5 months in when I connected to the Moorish Science Temple of America. And I didn't even know about a lot of this. Things that I'm learning now, but I connected to it very naturally. And I'm saying that to say that I just keep coming back to a place where, first of all, I totally agree with my brother. I believe that we have to heal. So hurt people, as we know. And the more we hurt, and the more we respond with hurt, we're creating more hurt. So we have to learn to respond to our brother and our sister with love. Now, for myself, I know that, I hope that one day, I think I see myself doing certain things in the future and all that. But one thing I have to do is I first have to deal with myself. I have to work on my home first. And this is what I speak with my fiance about. We can do all the charity outside. We can do everything outside, and we can show face outside, and we can do all these things to help all these people. But if our hearts are not right and our home is not right, it doesn't matter, because then we're just doing it for the purpose of people seeing us. But when we begin to work on inside of our home, and we work on our children, and then that's how we build our generations, how we break our generational curses. When we work on ourselves as individuals, we can be very concerned about what everyone else is doing. But at the same time, we first must concern ourselves with ourselves. It says, to teach men to be pure in heart, you must yourself be pure in heart, in word and in deed. You yourself have to choose to be consecrated. You yourself would need to choose to love your brother instead of hating your brother, and loving your sister instead of hating your sister. You yourself would have to work on your anger issues. You yourself will have to work on your peace. You yourself will have to work on how you hate another, how you may hate another person, or unforgiveness for yourself. You yourself will have to work on self-sabotage, and working on sabotaging your brother and your sister, and asking yourself the right question. Why am I doing this? Why do I feel the need to help another person? Sometimes our charity is not pure. And because our charity is not pure, we're giving out this negative energy, and then that's what we're putting out into the universe, and what we're putting out into the world is negative things. Until we can heal ourselves, until we can actually take ownership, be responsible, and work on who we are as individuals, we are not going to move forward. If we heal our home first, meaning ourselves, we will begin to reflect something different. A different energy will then be reflected. And when the different energy is reflected, we're going to get something different back. It's going to be more of an opening for us to be able to speak to our brother and to be able to speak to our sister. We're not going to be able to do this. Like going to a classroom full of children, and you're going to this classroom full of children, you're supposed to teach these children, but you have anger and hate and resentment, and you hate your job, and all these things are on you. This energy is on you. That same energy is going to go to those children. They're going to reflect that back to you. And because they're going to reflect that back to you, until you heal, you're going to keep getting that reflection back to you. You're going to keep getting that reflection until they see that your responses change, that you're working on yourself and you're healing yourself, and that you're being honest. You're saying, you know what, I'm not perfect. I'm working on this. I lied about that. I'm working on myself. And recognizing that as I take these masks of these lies that I told to other people, and I created this false image of myself, as I'm taking off this mask, that the people that came with that mask, they're going to leave too. When you get to a point where you can apologize to those people for lying to them instead of being upset that they leave.
Wow. That's
as we actually begin to heal. Yeah, I had to do that. I lost everything when I was looking for myself and I was discovering who I am. I lost everybody, almost everybody. And I had to apologize to most of these people because I lied to them. I was not who I originally was meant to be. I was rejected all of my life. So because of most of the time being rejected, I thought that it was me, so I put on all these faces. And then finally, I decided, you know what? What if I give myself a chance? This is what brings in depression and anxiety. We're fighting with ourselves when we're not 100% with ourselves, and we're not being authentic and real and practicing our own free will, and we're allowing another person to tell us who we are, and we're not truthful about who we are, really who we are on a deep level on the inside. I'm talking about us pretending to be what the TV says that we are, pretending to be what, some of these history books aren't true. When we know deep inside of who we are and we go with that, it's going to take us to our ancestors. It's going to take us to our healing. But we are turned off in a way where our volume is, our internal guidance system volume is turned all the way down, almost off. And we've gotten to a point where we don't even trust ourselves.
Right.
And we're still trying to fight. Yes, and we're still trying to fight to be inside of the house.
Man.
This is why we're killing each other. We're trying to be better than each other. We're still trying to fight to be in the house. There is no house right now. We can build our own communities. But the only way that we can build our own communities and be able to govern, to be trusted to self-govern, is if we get back to a place where the original state was, where we were in love.
I like that. I really do like that, because a lot of people do not even know how to work on themselves. They do not even know that they have to work on themselves. Most people want to be perfect. Most people actually want to look at life and be like, it ain't me that need to change, it's the world that needs to change. So that is a beautiful. Right. How you distributed that was a beautiful way to get it through to the people on how to actually stop, look at what you're not accomplishing, and figure out that it's not because people just don't. You're being saved from people more than you are being thrusted into people. You keep thrusting yourself into people while circumstances are keeping you from that destruction, and you're just not looking at it, and you're getting that depression because you try to get with the destruction, and the destruction is somebody trying to save you. It's like a whole merry-go-round on it. It's like you're chasing your tail while at the same time somebody is trying to help you, lead you to water.
Right.
And with that being said, like, I want to go back to something that Elle said, and then I have a couple of questions about what you were stating. You had just stated, but Elle, real quick, you said that these leaders, these black leaders in these churches, in these communities, they're being paid off in order to deceive you. With that Creflo Dollar coming out and saying that tithing isn't biblical and that he's been wrong this whole time, would that be a prime example of that?
I would say, I'm not here to target any individual or let the folk decide about that themselves. But tithes are done in multiple ways. If you're going to go into the religious aspects of the tithe is given from your heart, and it can be done in multiple ways. All right, it can be done as far as you help somebody in the community. Heck, you can help the guy next door line cut his grass because he can't do it himself. Or, there's multiple ways of doing tithe. And the people don't even know what that is. See, they got to go into that, because tithes and offerings are two different things. And tithes were supposed to be things stored up at the warehouse or in the storehouse for the whole community. And then offering is the same thing. You offer your help or you offer additional service. All these things are being for the community, and that's not what's happening. 10% is a tax. It's a tax coming from the Roman cure. Plain and simple. It's a tax. Okay? God don't need your money. And I'm not here to take anybody's money and do all that and go into the religious thing. As far as the brothers talking about you not paying your tithes and all that's still conditioning. That's still conditioning to the people to pay tax. But you know what? Because we talk about tax, but there is a way in this system, the IRS, when the IRS is really our friend in terms of taxes. There's ways that folk who pay rent, there are ways to get that kind of written off. Not with a 1040, but there's other tax forms that you can use. You didn't know you had a $3 to $4 million exemption. You didn't know that. I know you didn't, because I just found out. You know, it might have been some years ago and I'm working. A lot of people don't know that. They say you're the richest nation, the richest people, but how's that when we gotta eat ramen noodles from the dollar store every day? But you don't know that, so everybody waits for their 1040 refund, but do they even know what a 1040 is? No, because they've been conditioned to fill that out. That goes along with the tax from the churches. You're supposed to pay 10% of your wages. That's a tax. That is not a storehouse. This is not dealing with that. 501(c). I know you've heard. I know the sister heard of it. I know, brother, you've heard of it. It's an organization. Church is an organization. Churches are a corporation. It's a business. They're in the business of not teaching you, but they're in the business of what they call motivational speaking, aspirations. We want to make you feel good. That's the business.
Exactly.
And we need to accept that and understand that. Go ahead, bro.
Oh no, I was just saying exactly. And that sounds exactly what you were saying about being taken advantage of and being forced to pay a tax. They call it the tithing, and this is how they get paid off in order to deceive you. And it's so much that if we knew this, we'll be able to save our own money instead of funding our own destruction. So it's so much that we can take it, and I'm gonna expand on that in a few questions about that. I'm gonna get ask you a couple of questions that's gonna help break that down a little bit. But I had something I wanted to ask Shekinah about what she was saying about the self healing. You said Shekinah, you said that you need to go into your house and do it in the privacy of your own home. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to say something out of the Bible that I've read. Now, it's not in a religious aspect, so I want to just forewarn the listeners. This is not coming out of the religious aspect, but it's to show that what you just said, it must have been an ancient practice, because even the one that they call Jesus in the so-called New Testament, he said about don't be like the hypocrites praying in the streets, but go into your own homes and go into your own closets and pray in privacy. Now, we do know that Joshua is a Moabite through his great-grandmother Ruth. This sounds like a very ancient practice. Is that correct?
So what happens? Okay, so for me, I get a lot of, which may sound a little weird. I get a lot of downloads, spiritual downloads, and I'm guided. So this is what I was saying when our third eye begins to open, right? When we eat the right foods, when we drink the water, when we do the things that we're supposed to do, we are connected spiritually. We're told by our ancestors, we're told by our eternal guidance system how to move forward, period, as an individual. So you get specific downloads, specific information on how you are to move as an individual. Now, I can't say that some people are not to pray in the street. And I'm only saying that because some people need to see other people do it. It's still, in a sense, turned out to be a blessing. But for me, I was particularly told spiritually that I needed to work on my house, meaning on the inside. What I teach, when I am teaching other people, I have them to work on the inside of them. Before you can work on anyone on the outside, you first need to work on your own house, inside, and then that spreads out to your house, within your home, like your husband, your wife, your children, whoever is inside the home. And then it spreads to the neighbor, and then it spreads to the store clerk. And it goes, and then you're planting these seeds all around of these healing seeds, these seeds of hope, these seeds to say, there are good people in the world. Why don't I do that? Why don't I smile when, this person brightened my day? So there are ancient techniques that will be downloaded inside of you but it's for you as an individual. Like John, he actually had to go and sit in the middle of the marketplace, and he had to do this whole. I personally believe that he was a shaman, you know, based off of what he looked like, based off of what he was wearing, you know, the animal on his clothing, based off of, you know, him being a hermit, and all these different things. You know, I personally believe that he was a healer, you know, but that's my opinion because I see myself, because I sort of see myself. As we're reading these things, we begin to see ourselves in them and how they blossom for us as individuals. So for me, I personally believe that in order for us to move forward, we have to work on our home, our inner home first. That's our soul, our bodies. We have to work on that. When we work on our souls and our bodies, it connects us more to our spirit. When we're connected to our spirit, we hear clearer. And then we understand how to raise our children. We understand that they're different from us. We understand how to raise our children. We have a respect for differences. We understand that we are different. When you know yourself, you understand that you are different from another person, and you do not put another person down. We have a big issue with bashing each other, not understanding that people are on different levels and here to learn different things. So we do not have any right at all to judge another man or another woman. Like the brother was saying, I can't judge Creflo Dollar for what he did. You know, maybe in some sense, in my past, maybe I did a smaller level of that. How dare I judge this man on what he did just because it's on a bigger level? I can't judge him. If he's working on it, even if he's not, we don't really know. We don't know what his intention is on the inside or how he's feeling or what he's going through on the inside. So I can't judge him, and I don't know what his journey is this lifetime. To say, you know, he's still this or he's still that, he's still this, because I know my own past. That's what working on yourself and knowing yourself does. It allows you not to judge another man based on what he shows you, even in front of you, because we don't know the brother's intention or what he actually was really feeling. And also on top of that, most of the time, I would say 99% of the time, the things that annoy you about another person is the same thing that you have done or that you're doing maybe in a shorter level.
Wow.
So know it. So working on yourself first, working on your home, meaning yourself, and then that trickles down to inside of your home, and then to your neighbor, and then to the person at the store, and the homeless person on the street. That's how we work on healing. This is when you know yourself and you can really dig into yourself, because we're ugly on the inside, and the only way that we can accept that is by the thing is, let me not say ugly. I'm going to say that we all have lessons to learn, and the way that we learn these lessons, it's a beautiful way that we learn these lessons. Most people think that we're supposed to learn all these lessons at once. No, we're not supposed to learn all the lessons at once. The lesson that's most prevalent, the lesson that's in front of you, the thing that you cannot get away with anymore. Let's say if you used to get away with small white lies, right?
Right.
But now your children are catching you in the small white lies. Your wife or your husband is catching you in those small white lies. Your boss is catching you in those small white lies. It's time for you to work on those small white lies. And then then you work on it, right? But this is love, because we're not going to be getting everything just thrown up on us. If you look at it and you pay attention, Noble Drew Ali said, if I could just get you to think again. Think again. If we begin to think again, we'll then begin to ask the right question to ourselves. It's a whole different level of how we would move and how we would love our brother and love our sister. It's a different respect. It's so many people that are using, like the brother was saying, you know, we get in these positions And we're still keeping our brother and sister down because we're still trying to get in the house. We're still trying to be a part of the house. We're still trying to be seen as, oh, I'm bigger and I'm better. It's still a slavery mentality. It's in our bones. It's in our blood. And the only way that we can change it is by thinking again. By coming to a point where we're saying, you know what, something's not right. Let me sit here and figure out what is not right within myself. Let me deal with myself first. You cannot deal with the world until you deal with your own home, until you deal with your own mess first.
Wow.
You can't even fully deal with your own children until you deal with your own stuff.
Wow. You know what?
And the majority of what I learned was intuitive. Or I was led to a certain book or a certain person to teach me, because that's how it goes. We are so loved that whatever we need, when we begin to think again, we begin to open our eyes, we begin to see, and we are intuitively led. It's different. And this is coming from a person that was on her own since she was 12.
So you got the experience to back it up.
Full 110 experience. Everything that I said is because I went through it. I didn't stay down when I could have stayed down so many times. I think I shared with you I was on 7 medications for my mental health. They said I had everything in the book. But guess what? My intuition told me, what if you just see who you are and you give yourself a chance? You be kind to yourself. What if you just see who you are? You know, I had to learn how to feel again in order to connect with my children. I had to learn to receive love, learn to give love, learn to forgive other people, learn to forgive myself.
Wow.
I had to learn to be humble. All of these things. And then I was blessed with a mate when I was at a point where it was time for me now to learn how to receive love. And then I had to learn how to respect and mold and shape and encourage this man so that he can learn and know himself. It starts from the inside out. You can't do anything if you just focus on the outside. My brother's doing this. Everybody's doing everything wrong. Forget what they're doing wrong for the moment. Blind your eyes even to it for a moment. Work on yourself.
And that's
Heal yourself.
That's all about building that temple. Building that temple so that it can be fortified, strong enough to withstand any storm that comes against it. So you could be a standing, living testimony to the next person. I feel you, sister. I
love.
Okay, so I want to ask this, Shekinah, to you about what you just stated. Is this a part of what you do when you do shamanic Reiki healing?
So when I do a shamanic Reiki healing, all of it is emotional. Everybody's shamanic Reiki healing looks different. I didn't even know what this was. Like I said, when I begin to think again, things begin to come to me. I begin to have these visions. I begin to see. I begin to feel. I could sometimes, I always say it sounds a little strange because even still as it comes out of my mouth, it sounds a little strange, but it's true. And I have people to prove it. I began to have these visions. I began to see rituals. See them. I had no idea what a ritual was until I was praying and was like, okay, whoever's out there that's helping me, I kind of need some money for something. And then, like a day later, I had a vision of a ritual. Didn't even realize that it was a money ritual. My ancestors speaking to me.
Wow.
I began to be able to hear during a session, hear what another person is thinking. I'm able to absorb another person's energy and take away some of their emotional pain. So when I'm doing a healing, everyone's healing is different. So when I have someone sit down and I say, I tell them, don't do anything. Well, what am I supposed to expect? I don't even know. I don't know. I pray. I do open up my medicine space, which is I'm connecting to the four winds, north, south, east, west. All of those. I'm connecting with Mother Earth. I'm connecting with the sky. I'm connecting with God. I'm bringing in everybody for help. I'm bringing in Noble Jew Ali. I'm bringing in Jesus. I'm bringing in everybody.
We building an army around here. I get you.
Exactly. And the things that happen for these people, it's life changing, and it's an emotional change. I don't tell them I'm going to heal your leg. We go in and we are told why the person's leg is hurting. It may be an emotional thing. We clear up the chakras. Sometimes a person can lay down on the table and my throat starts burning, like fiery. Because I feel that they're shocked, that their throat chakra is closed. I feel the pain in their heart. One girl a couple of days ago, she was outside of my house just to pick me up so I can go train her at the gym. I'm in my bathroom. I'm having a great day. I had finished studying. I had meditated. I was having a great day. I walk out my bathroom, and all of a sudden, I get this all this anxiety, all this depression, this pain in my bones. I walk, and I'm just telling myself, see, this is about knowing yourself. Sometimes we have these spiritual superpowers, and we think that we think that we have depression and anxiety. It could be somebody in our home or one of our friends or family members or a client. I go to the window, I say, oh, it's her. She has it. This is hers. This belongs to her. I go to the car, you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. No. You need to tell me if you're okay, because right now I feel like I want to cry and it's not mine.
Wow.
And she says, well, this and this is going on. And then I took her to the waterfall. She wanted to get her healing at a waterfall. We went to the waterfall, and I was told, and I didn't know what to do. This is what I'm saying. I did not know what to do on this waterfall. There were rocks everywhere around this waterfall. How am I supposed to do a healing here? I don't have any of my things. I had to step away from the healing, let my ego go for a moment, because my ego was like, the fear was piling up. You're not going to be able to do this. You're not going to do this. I had to step to the side, pray that away, and come back and actually listen. Hearing what's being connected, meditation, being connected to be able to hear source to say what this person needed. And the reason why she was at the water was because she needed her feet washed. She needed her footsteps from her past needed to be washed away. And once we washed away her footsteps, I had to actually go and find mud and bury her and put mud all over her body to bury her so that she could have a death and then a rebirth.
Wow.
And this helped her to cry. If you go to my page, you'll see it. I posted it. I posted what her response was after. She was actually able to cry, and she had not really one of those ugly cries. She hasn't really been able to cry in a long time.
Wow.
So things like that happen. And then sometimes it's not like that. Sometimes it's just me going through the process and telling another person, and Source telling me, tell her that she already knows what to do. Stop listening to other people and letting people instruct you, because sometimes we go to the churches, we go to all these different places, and they tell us, they give us this what do you call it when they tell you this prophetic word? You get a prophetic word from here, you get a prophetic word from there, you get a prophetic word from here and there, and all these places. Now you're confused. You don't know which way to go, and then you want it mad at God because you don't know which way to go. Well, who told you that you can't hear God for yourself?
That's true.
Who told you that? 100% of the time, you already know what to do, but sometimes you need someone to confirm it. Sometimes sometimes you need somebody as a conduit. That's what I do.
Okay.
I work with the emotional portion of the issues. I don't work with your pain.
Right.
Sometimes it'll take the pain away because you're releasing the emotion. And then sometimes it's just a conversation. It's helping you to say, you know what? Go deeper in that spot. I do personal training, but the way I do personal training is very different. I teach a person to feel again. I was in a domestic violence situation for over 20 years. And then and prior to that, sex abuse through as a child and parent abuse, and then self-abuse.
Wow. I
now teach people how to actually heal, how to work on healing themselves. I have, and I don't have a normal form of education the way everybody else has it. I'm being guided and led. These words that are coming out of my mouth, if I told you something right now, you would be like, there's no way in the world. The way that I speak, I was trained and taught by source.
That's right.
I was trained and taught by source.
And that's what makes it come through so pure, because it's not contaminated. It's coming straight from the source, straight directly downloaded into you. And since there's no block there to filter out any of the knowledge or any of the information, you're getting 100% of that. And I know El, he knows a little bit about this too, because we spoke about this the other day. And matter of fact, let me generate this next question based off of what you just told me towards him. With this healing that Shekinah is speaking of, and the downloads that she's speaking of, because I know you mentioned that at one point too, so I know you're familiar with that as well. With the food that we're eating now, would that be like something that would hinder you from getting that full download, if any at all?
Well, first I want to say, the sister's testimony and history is showing it's so much like Kedrika El, my wife's background. These sisters, these are portals in and out of this realm, and our sisters are the highs that you can get, bro. These sisters, I'm listening to her. I hear my wife speaking the same way, and it's so quiet. It's like I'm listening to my wife talk. We had these discussions. She had some of the same testimony, and these things come through sisters. Because yes, brothers, we have our own conversation, but these, I'm feeling the emotion. I feel my wife's emotion in us as warriors. We're here to stand in front of them, and so we straightforward. We coming through. But these sisters here, these some bad sisters, brother. If we get back where we supposed to be, and back and everybody in their rightful places, these sisters running things, man, this place would be a beautiful place to be.
I agree.
That's the first thing. So I commend all my sisters, my wife and Sister L here on here. I commend you. I uplift you guys, because y'all go through a whole lot of things, and we just sometimes we all miss the mark on that as being Moorish men. Now, addressing as far as foods, of course those foods will affect the physical body. But on our level, because we're different and we're built differently, the water's not going to stop you from ascending. The food's not going to stop you from ascending. I'm not going to tell you what you should or should not eat. I'm not here to tell you, don't eat pork, brother. Don't eat chicken. Don't eat this. First of all, everybody can't eat pork. Everybody can't eat beef. Everybody can't eat seafood. So that's why I said we get into the blood type, because they don't talk to us about the things that really matter to the physical body. And we're talking about spirituality, however. Spirituality is something that is already there. So you have to go in, like you were saying, you have to go in and look inside. And we have to change the things inside. And it's easy to sit here and say that. How do we do that? What if we can't do Reiki? What if we can't meditate? Well, you can. It's all on, like, we homeschool our children. And everyone's used to, you go to school, you get there at a certain time, you certain topics, and then you go home at a certain time, and you do this every day for 10 months, and so on and so forth. But homeschool comes in everyday things, from brushing your teeth to ironing your clothes, to getting your clothes, to picking out the items at the store, how much they cost, doing budgeting. I got $5, can I spend it on this, that, and the other? It's multiple things, whether it's working on cars, cutting the grass, how you interact with people. People tell us so much that our children may not be able to socialize because they're not going to a public school. And we won't even get into the public school system and all that. But socialize, that's something that's supposed to already be there. Someone got to teach you how to talk to somebody else and how to act in public and how to act in front of other people. See, this is showing you the degradation and the dependency of us all on somebody telling us what to do. And that's the problem. Again, we have to look inside. Like the sister saying, like I said before, it's in here. But how do we do that? And the food, yes. You don't want to eat the worst of the worst, but let's be real about it. Everybody can't go to the store and go buy scallops. Everybody can't go to the store, and some people have to eat pork. That's all that's there. Some people have to eat noodles. That's all they can afford. And this is what I want to talk to folk about, real life situations. Everybody can't be perfect and have everything optimal. Some people can't even go to the store. They don't have a car to get there. You know what I mean? So you can't go grocery shopping. So you have to learn what works with your body and how does it work. And one thing is your blood type. And that's part of personality. That's part of spirituality. That's part of learning other subject matter that you have not been conditioned to. They conditioned us all to do certain things in certain patterns. And now they tell us, well, if you eat pork, brother, that's because the black man shouldn't eat pork because it was the worst food on the slave, and then they had to do this and this. Well, heck, my wife and her family on the hog farm. That's what it was. So what does that mean? They're doomed? They still here. I still got children. I'm sure everybody that's listening has eaten pork. So obviously that's not it. Does it stop you from getting the knowledge from God and getting it out of your Akasha or getting your uploads and downloads that you need from the planet? No, it's not. But you do need to go out in the sun. You do need to go out and get in some water. You do need to really take an assessment of yourself and really look at that and look at what you're doing. Because everyone is going to be different. But we need real solutions. And I agree with all the theology, I mean, the theory behind everything, but a lot of folks simply don't know what to do. And that's what I've been finding in our community, that people don't have the knowledge to, what do I do, man? I can't do that. I don't know how to meditate. How do you meditate? You think meditate sitting out on the rock up under a tree with a waterfall behind them and that's it? No, what if you don't have no waterfall? You know what I mean? What if you don't, well, I got a water sprinkler, whatever. Yeah, brother, that'll work. It's where your heart is at. It's where you going. And I'm not saying if you don't have one, if you do have access to it, then use it. I'm not saying, but I'm saying everybody can't. And I don't want, and that's what I'm finding, that, you know, us who get on these forums and we speak, and I'm not speaking to anybody here on the forum, I'm just saying, generally speaking, in our conscious community, we hear these things out, and the reality is that everybody can't get to the gym. Everybody can't get over to the patio house. Everybody can't and don't have a pool in their backyard. Everybody don't have a grocery store which is even walking distance. That's the reality of it. So what do? Are they doomed? They're not going to get any receivers from God. They said the meek will inherit the earth. So that means those who have not will be the ones that's first with it all. All you who think you have it all will lose it all, because why? That's what it means to you. It means more to you to have that than it does to have the consciousness, the love that the sister's speaking of, that my wife speaks of, that these all women speak of, because that's who speaks of it. Us, we're trying to figure out, men, we're trying to figure out how we're going to take care of them, what we're going to do, and how can we make it happen. And they're the voice of reason, and that's the balance. And we need that too. We need our love, we need our wives, they need their men. But the food is not going to stop you. I mean, that's your question. You can eat anything, you need to press through that. I'm not telling you to go eat anything. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is the reality is everybody can't be perfect. Somebody eat pork out there that's listening, that got on a turban, or don't have on one, got on a baseball hat, that got more, that's owning more than anybody, you know, around them. So it has nothing to do with that, although that does play a factor in your physical body, and yes. But you need to find out what your blood type is. There's certain foods that are better for you that may not be good for your wife, or might not be good for your husband. And then together y'all can pick and choose through some of these foods that you normally would eat that neither one of y'all should be eating. And then maybe we have some couscous instead of some rice. Or maybe we have some mashed potatoes instead of asparagus. I don't know. Whatever your blood type is going to dictate that. But most of the stuff that's out here is probably hurting us anyway. I mean, it hurts your joints. It's modified foods. And those are things I think you're alluding to. Yes,
right.
Those things affect us. But we have the power as higher level beings to overcome that. And that's why you got all this that's going on right now, is to keep us down and make us feel hopeless, to make us, okay, if I don't have, oh man, if I got pork chops and I got to throw all my stuff away because that's going to help me get, to a higher level. No, brother, don't throw your food away. That's not what we're saying. We're saying you need to apply yourself to principles, and you need to modify what you eat. You need to modify what you eat. I'm not authorizing or saying or condemning anything, because the reality is we're all different, and you got to have what you have. And I think us skin folk, what we always want to see is an example, right? Everyone, hey man, does that really work? Sister, if you're not eating pork, did that really make you feel better? Or brother, did you eat beef? Did that make your stomach get big that it is? Or, so on and so forth. Well, we're here to tell you, we did a blood type diet, and we changed a lot of foods that we ate. And we have a 9-year-old as a result of that. Okay, and I'm 54. You're going to put ages out here, and I'm saying I have a 9-year-old. And the women can still have children even at a so-called later stage in life. It's all, and that's spiritually too. Because we couldn't have a baby until we actually did some cleansing. And that didn't come because we decided to go to church or we decided to do something. It was like the sister said, it was something that came off from the source. All of a sudden you don't want to eat that much. All of a sudden you don't want to eat this. All of a sudden you don't want to drink this. All of a sudden you want to go to bed at 8 o'clock instead of 2 o'clock in the morning. And then you might switch up like we're doing now. Now we don't go to bed at 8. We can't go to sleep. Now we go to bed at 2, 3, 4. We up all night studying and doing all kinds of things. It's not that we want to do that. It's how it changes. The spirit, the energy from this planet, the energy that's coming from the solar system, all those things is changing what's going on with us now. And the food is not all of it. It does play a role. So I don't want to rule it out, but I don't want nobody to think because they eat pork chop now they condemn, getting ready to go to hell, and it's all over. That's not how it works. I'm not saying that because we're not even, the pork, the pigs eating ain't even really, they saw that. See, there used to be different color pigs, the ones, the razorbacks and the black and white hogs and all. The food, the animals, I used to drive these rigs and I would go to this big chain that sells poultry. And I ain't gonna, like I said, I'm gonna throw nobody's name out there, but we understand. We see them, every chicken in there was white. I mean, the feathers are white. That means it's cloned. All right, turkeys, they cloned. The pigs were all pink. The cows were all black.
No personality.
Animals, no personality. It's a conveyor belt. And what we do now we're not even eating the live stuff. Used to be on the store. Now you two probably too young to know about it. But they used to have, even in the middle of Los Angeles, and I'm sure that you all know, you can go down the street at a mom and pop and you can go pick up a chicken, a live chicken. You dress it for you and all that. Live food.
Yep.
You can go get fish out the tank. Or
Yep.
you can go get fish out of the lake. You find stuff that's been solutionized and all. That's what the problem is. It's not the food. It's what these beings, there's an explosive right there, beings that are putting certain substances in the food that are affecting our physical bodies because it's used against us to destroy our physical body. And then you got on top of that all the elements of stuff that's going on, like this situation that's going on that's supposed to be creating a so-called famine. But how are they going to do that? They're talking about grains. All right, we already know we got terminating grains. Well, people don't, but it is. These farmers, we know farmers from Arkansas, Missouri, they get seeds and the stuff rotten before they can even put it in the ground. So it's not the food itself, it's the stuff that they're putting in them. And this is what we call, again, in the study groups, called World War III silent wars. That's what we're in the middle of. And our spirituality has to lead us. And then I want to give people something that they really can see. I don't want to just give you, oh man, you should, do this, that, and the other. But no, we need to start giving people stuff that they can really use and they can see, because I think that's another issue in our community. People don't have anything to really tie on. Like we saying, all they can do is go to church. They ride in these big cars or whatever, and then you have the entertainment group. Other than that, that's it. All that stuff, TV or something local, we don't have anything else. You need something in your own life so you can feel and jump from one tree branch. Like, brother, how you doing, brother? I'm hopping branch to branch, hoping one of these branches don't break. And I'm keeping moving. And you got to keep moving through the trees. Just keep going. Don't stop. Right? We need to give some practical things that actually work that people can see and understand and then apply to their life. And that will also generate a different attitude, because they don't believe in this anymore. When I say us, I'm saying like you, brother, sister, my wife, others that are like us who do put spirituality in our life. And it's hard believing and trusting, because you got so much stuff going on that it shakes the foundation, but you got to keep going. You know what I mean? When you don't have the money you need to go and get what you want, you're like, oh, Lord, God, Jesus, what I'm going to do? You know what I mean? And you got to figure out something now. But have you ever been down and all the way out to nothing? You may feel that way, but there's always a Lord. There's always a Lord. But nonetheless, I'm very familiar. We call this a sidebar. Food will not stop you from getting your messages. It does have an impact on the physical body. You do have to consciously seek your spirituality, but you're going to be uploaded and downloaded, and the information that you need to spread or get is going to be handled by the source. You be pure at heart, be honest with yourself first, and then be honest with others, and be true to yourself, because you know the truth. When you lying, you know the truth. When you're not lying, you know the truth. I don't. I only know what you tell me. So you do that, you're going to be all right.
All right.
But don't go and get the worst of the worst. And we're going to talk about that later, too. We'll talk about that at some point in time about these foods, because, it's a way to help with that.
Oh, yeah.
With people, and everyday stuff. You go in these places where you shop at, there's things in there that you can get that, that's not terminated, or it is terminated, but just, you got to pick the worst of the best of the ugly.
Right.
Said,
now,
that's what you got.
And you break up a great topic where you said about the blood type dieting and stuff like that. A lot of people don't even know their blood type. So that's something that something that people could start off by studying themselves. What is your blood type? And if you figure out what your blood type is, that you know more about yourself, you can start learning more about yourself. Sister, is there anything you want to add on to that? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So.
No, I'm sorry, sis. I just want to say on that blood type, and I'm going to leave it alone. What's interesting, me and the wife found out, a lot of people have been asked about their blood types from their doctors or whatever, and they don't want to give it to them.
Oh, wow.
Ask what you need that for. Yeah. So why is that? See, these are things we need to pay attention to. Why they want to know and we don't know about our own selves. I yield the floor.
Okay, yeah, that is interesting, man. Don't let them doctors trick y'all, man. Get your blood type. I'm sorry, sister. Go ahead.
Right. It's okay. That's crazy. So, like the brother was saying, and this is the question about how does the food affects you. I can only speak from my own. From the way I felt. Now, I do believe that they are putting substances and things inside of the food, like the brother was saying, and that because they're putting things inside of the food, it is impacting us, and it does, in a sense, mess with the way we see. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I know for me, so if you eat a certain kind of food, and I'll just give you an example. I know for me, if I eat pasta, and if I eat pasta, it makes me really, really tired. I become I go into a complete coma. I have to go to sleep, right? If I eat sugar, sometimes I can feel anxiety, I can feel depressed, I have that up and then that down. So emotionally, it's messing with me.
Right.
Because emotionally it's messing with me, it's distorting the way I see. So when I am eating more clean, and I'm not saying, not to eat your pork or anything like that. I'm saying be more intuitive about the way you eat. So let's say if your body has a craving for onions, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have a craving for onions, it's actually that means that your body, I think it's your liver or your kidneys is in need of something that's in the onions. The onions are going to help heal whatever that is. If your body has a desire for potassium, like these are just things that my body told me that I need. So I had this thirst for onions, raw onions. Why am I eating onions?
Right.
And then when I looked it up, I'm like, oh, that's why. Okay, intuitively, my body is telling me what I need, right? If my body has a desire for bananas, like one whole week, I'm like, oh, I want bananas. Bananas are full of sugar, but my body is thirsty for it. I know that it wants potassium, so I can find a different way to kind of bring in the potassium. But because I did not have the potassium at the moment, it was causing me to not be clear and to not fully be present. So when I say that the food can affect you, it's like the symptom of eating certain foods can affect you. It can make you tired. It can make you depressed. It can cause you to have anxiety. All these things can cause you not to hear or to see or to even connect with your download the way you're fully supposed to. So I'm not saying, throw out this or that, your food and for people that can't get to, supermarkets and things like that, like the brother is saying, we have to find a more functional way, even if it's like a delivery system. If you have a friend or a family member, if you know someone, to deliver, some fruits or vegetables or things like that, making our self-care more realistic. I mean, finding a way. Like I live in a residential area. There's in the inner city, there's stores, everywhere. So I can't say what to do in situations that my brother was just speaking about. I can only speak from my perspective, and my perspective is it affected me. Maybe I did at most. I probably, as a matter of fact, I did still have certain downloads, but they were not clear. I couldn't fully understand them. I was not in a place to actually hear or even know what it was. When I cleaned up the way I eat, and when I mean clean up the way you eat, I mean like drinking more water, eating more fruits and vegetables if you can, being more intentional about what you're eating and when you're eating, not overeating. Eating more so when eating possibly on a schedule, or eating when you're actually hungry. Sometimes going through Ramadan, this was my first Ramadan I actually went through, and going through Ramadan helped me to understand that 80% of the time I wasn't even hungry. It was more of a mental thing, and I had so much clarity that I was able to connect a little bit more. So while the food may not stop you, the food can hinder you. It can cause you not to see clearly. You can get the downloads and things, but it'll be like a little fluttered. You may not be able to fully understand. It'll be a little bit harder because of the substances that are being put inside of our food. Inside the public schools, it's almost kind of like a setup, right? You get inside the public schools, and in order to receive, you have to have certain nutrition elements inside of your body. So you go inside the school, they feed the children these free breakfasts, right? The breakfast may be, pancakes, which is basically sugar because it's probably made with white flour. Then you have the syrup that's going on the pancakes, it's more sugar. And then you have you have all these things that are going against this child's brain, and then they're being punished and forced to sit in a chair and think when you just gave them everything that caused them not to think. You know, and then they're getting in trouble for it. You know, they're getting detention. They're getting in trouble for it.
Preach.
They're called, you know, all of these different names, and you know, and put to the side, or something's wrong with you. You know, and then we're doing this inside of our homes, even as we're giving out to charity. A lot of the charities, you don't see charities giving away fruits and vegetables and giving away food that's going to help us to think a little bit better. They're giving out. You go to a charity cookout. They're giving out hot dogs, and you know, and yes, these may be things that they can give, but if you're giving out something and you're having this, somebody has to have this expectation that we are to heal, and if we are to heal, then we have to go in the direction of actually healing. We can't add to the problem by giving out chips and sugary juices and things like that, you know, and feeding the problem. We have to teach our families, like the brother was saying, in the classes he's going to be giving, you know, teaching people actually practical ways to resolve some of these issues based off of, like he was saying, where you live, you know, based off of where you are. Here, maybe I can probably do it in a different way. Where he is, it needs to be done in a different way, you know. So it does, and for me, like even for the when I eat, if I eat too much, I mostly eat I really try to stay away from as much as possible meat. I have it every once in a while, but for me, because of my spirituality, because of, again, I can only speak for myself, because of my spirituality, because of my intuition, and because I know myself, and I'm present, and I can feel how I feel, I know that when I eat too much meat, it causes me to be depressed, which means that I'm going to be in a low vibrational state, and I'm not going to hear. I'm not going to be able to move the way I normally would move spiritually, because, and it's not that the downloads are not coming, as the brother said. It's that the symptom of that food is causing me to be foggy. It's causing me not to be clear. It's causing my download to not come in. It's causing it to come in distorted. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
You get what I mean?
Oh yeah. It sounds like
so that's how it happens for me.
And it sounds like pretty much go hand in hand exactly what the brother was saying. He was saying about the blood type diet. El was saying about the blood type diet.
Yep.
That sounds like because of your blood type, you know exactly how to read your body. You know exactly what your body is telling you. You know what it's going to need whenever it is lacking something. So you go out and you listen to your body. It's just like what brother was saying. Your blood type is telling you, hey, we need to do something, and we need to do something now when it comes to food. And you know how to do it.
And you're following your initiation and following your intuition. Once you begin to really be present and you know yourself, it comes to you. So even if you can't get to anyone to help you to know your blood type or any of those things, when you are able to be present and you work on, and when I mean by meditation, like the brother was saying, it does not mean that you're sitting there with your hands folded and your feet folded underneath the waterfall. Meditation is daily. It's in everything. It's helping you to focus and to change your perspective on life. It's a choice. It can be sitting there and being quiet, but meditation can also be in a dance. It can be in intimacy. It can be in a kiss. It can be in writing, a letter to yourself. Meditation can be so many things. And we do tend, as the brother was saying, to actually put the meditation inside of a box. And with the way we have it set up, I would possibly say, and I don't know, because I don't know where, I have not experienced where the brother lives. anything, but I believe that a lot of people have access to libraries. A lot of people, if they're listening in, they have access to a friend, to a family member. They have access to the internet. You can get free services, free classes to teach you how to meditate. You can get, you can even reach out to me if it's, if it's this situation where you really want to learn. I'll show you how to do it. I can do it within a couple of minutes, and I can teach you right over the phone or through a Zoom. If you don't have access to that, if you're listening into this and you have a phone, you can, I can speak to you over the phone and walk you through simple ways of doing it to help you to be within your higher self. But you have tons of things on YouTube that can help you. We're in an age where it's information. It's all around us. It's so much information all around us where we can have access to learn something like meditation, and there are so many ways to actually learn it. And the blood type, that's definitely, I do believe that's why I personally am affected by, like, I can't drink coffee. Coffee makes me I would just use the word crazy. My fiance is like, you can never drink coffee again or have any kind of caffeine. I'm allergic to it, basically. So I cannot have any kind of coffee. I can't eat certain kinds of meat. And the more, and from clients, I realized that certain clients, the more that they're more in tune, the more that they're more present, the more that they're more becoming more spiritual, the more they can't eat certain foods. I think that and that's something that I may need to look into, but the more these people are more connected spiritually or evolving themselves, in a sense, they're just not able to eat certain foods, and I think that because those foods kind of dull them down, and we need to be at more of an optimal level. That's it. Thank you.
Oh no, and that right there brings it all together. It's like you supplemented exactly what Elle was saying about, like, with exactly how to listen to your body. Both of you are saying the same thing. Listen to your bodies, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I do have one more segment that I wanted to speak on before we actually call it quits. And I hope y'all aren't getting too tired on me because we're getting some great knowledge that I think that these people are learning.
I'm enjoying it, man. I'm like, we can go on with this.
Perfect.
I like, you guys down here on the 5D media, man, and have this again, and get into it on a different form. This is beautiful. I'm loving it.
Hey, I love to hear that. Hey, we're going to definitely talk about doing some more future projects together. But I was reading a post. I actually reposted this post on Instagram. A lady had put up a picture of food that she had just recently bought from one of the corner, not the corner store, but from the grocery stores. And it was like chips, hot dogs, donuts, treats, noodles, and all types of stuff. And she was saying that, I know this isn't the healthiest picture right here, but this is $155 worth of food. It didn't look like much. It looked like it was maybe a week's worth of food for a family of 4. Do you think that because of the way that we're being, not necessarily being targeted because of our skin color or anything like that, but because people are trying to stay above us and keep us in certain areas where we cannot reach or understand those downloads and give off proper uploads and so on and so forth, do you think that this economy is a warfare that is being placed on the people?
Who's on the floor?
Oh, I'm sorry, Elle. I want you to actually speak on this because this is your area right here, the economics.
Well, thank you for the floor. This thing is so layered, and it's definitely rooted in spirituality. I want everybody to understand that we are in the middle of a spiritual warfare, but it's some real stuff. It ain't just, Archangel Michael and, Lucifer jumping down from some clouds and all that kind of thing. This is not what we're dealing with. We're dealing with some real powers and principalities that are doing specific things to us all. And what happens is because we're in different locations that, we affect it differently. So every location is going to be different, but it is still the same. We all speaking in the same realm. Like Sister was talking about the different things that affect her as far as eating, listening to your body, and so on and so forth. And alkaline water is another one, spring water. How do you change that if you don't have it? How do you get that water? Simple, pour some lemon in it, some limes. But addressing, I just want to put that in there because that's some things that people can actually use right now to help clear their bodies right now. You can do it right now. You don't need no money. All you need is a lemon and some lime. Just put a little squeeze in the water, and that's going to help. All right? That's giving you something that you actually can use right now. But besides that, the lady had all these processed foods. And so the issue is this. They're going to start pushing, and you already see this, I'm sure all you do. They're going to start pushing you to eat out. Now, why I say that? Because you can go by the sign and see Church's Chicken, Popeye Chicken, 2-piece Tuesday, and I ain't doing a shout out, they better pay you for this one. All these folk got all these foods out here, and it's cheaper for you to go to the fast food place to get some food than it is to go to the grocery store. Now, how is that possible? It used to be that we're going to, maybe we should go, I don't know if you guys remember going to the drive-in. We're going to pack it up with chicken, go to the movie theater. We got candy and stuff in your mom's purse and your auntie's bag, and we coming in with burgers and sandwiches and all that. We don't do that anymore, right? We're going to buy everything that's already processed. It's done on purpose. What they're doing now is they're shrinking the food packages down, giving you less money because they already charging you up the butt. How is you going to want to pay? So what they do is they shrink it down and charge you the same price they did and give you less food. All right, so now the things that, but see, we should be looking at this as a blessing. This is the things I really want to say. Looking at this as a blessing. They shrinking the food. Our over-dependence or dependence upon these stores and all this, going to get as much as you want, whatever you want, whenever you want. The stores, now they closing at night, right? They used to stay on 24 hours, one of them big places. Now you can't go in there 24 hours. You got to stop at 10, 11 o'clock. You got to take your butt home and go to bed.
Exactly.
All right? That's good. That's a positive. The restaurants don't stay open all night. There's a couple of them that do, but they stay open. But the point is that the foods, they're pushing the people to getting this bad food. Now, our folks already been doing that in the neighborhood. So we were actually conditioned to it. So everybody else that hasn't been doing that, they getting ready to get on board and find out what happened. Because we always been having to eat down. I'm talking about generally speaking. Because I know folk right now who live in the projects in L.A., okay, and they can't afford the food to go down to one of these big stores and get all the, they have to get this processed food. I'm not saying get the processed food. I'm saying you need to think about what you're getting and change your frame of mind. Yeah, a whole box of Twinkies and Zuzu beans and all that, yeah, that's the wrong answer, period. We know that. That's the wrong answer. We don't need to talk about that. Everybody knows. Hell, they told us that when we was babies. Once your grandma said you eat too much candy, what's going to happen to you? You're going to get sick, and you're going to mess around and do what? Have the runs. And you in there in the bathroom, dude, and they got to give you a whole bunch of water and flush you out and give you X-Lax and all this. It ain't changed. It's the same thing. You just got grown now, so now you think that you don't need no X-Lax now, right? I just go over here and buy this big expensive stuff that's going to make your system even worse. We've gotten too far away from the basic thing. She or people like that, they go out and buy, they got 12 packs of sodas for 50 cents, $2. You get a soda and you can go ahead and $2. Let's be real about it. You out somewhere and you can't find water. But that's not should be your lifestyle. And that's where we're alluding to today. Some things you need to change, and that's going to affect you. Yes, it will. They want to put a tax on on sodas and stuff now.
Yes.
They want to treat it like beer. You see what I'm saying? They already know they got everybody conditioned to get these things, and it's us who are living differently from that. For instance, my wife had made a pie. She made a blood type pie. Didn't call for all the stuff that we typically, grew up putting all the, the kitchen sink in there. And that's fine, right? That's beautiful. Grandma did it. It was good. We lived on. We can make it. But we changed some of the ingredients. We had a family down in Arkansas. We were like, oh, no, we can't eat none of that. You know, we don't. But everybody out there now got hypertension, cold virus. I don't want to say the words out there, right? All kinds of ailments. And then when you try to tell them, they don't hear because they feel that you think you better than them. I'm not saying I got all the answers. I'm not saying that the system is wrong. I don't think that's the best practice. I don't think you should be getting all your children all the candies and the cupcakes. Hell, you eating all the candy and cupcakes is not good anyway. But people don't need to tell you that. You already know that.
Right.
That's people's excuses for not picking a better choice because they don't want to eat no rice. They don't want to eat no vegetables. We don't want to eat no oranges. Because why? Because you feel like you made it if you could get a bunch of steak, a bunch of pork chop, a bunch of neck bone,
bunch of shrimp.
You know, and the people, some kind of way, you know what I mean, that people have translated that into doing something. You know what I mean? And that we get back to the basics of having an issue. Our economic problem can change, but we need, the people need some kind of diet. You can't just tell them, no, don't eat this or don't eat the sugar. Why not bake it and make your own cake? Because this money get a whole pound of flour, probably about $3, a whole pound of flour, some eggs, some sugar. But no, you want to go buy all the cupcakes and stuff off the counter and the hot dogs that you know is probably ground up anything. We don't need to go there, right?
Right.
In this stuff, and you don't know. And yes, like the sister said, and I said, it will affect the physical body, and it can cause you to have some issues, but you still are more powerful than that. But once you become conscious of these things, then you're going to have some problems. And I think that might be when the sister Lou, you're aware of things that you weren't aware of before. It's your duty to change that.
Right.
So if you know or you feel in your spirit that, hey, I shouldn't be, maybe I shouldn't drink, all these sodas. Maybe I should drink some tea. Maybe I should drink some more water. And what kind of water? Alkaline water, distilled water, purified water, water out the sink. What do? But this guidance, or at least the knowledge, give choice what you're going to be here for by the source. You know better than that. First you didn't, but now you do. And you're going to say, well, I'm used to doing it that way. I just do it that way. We always done it that way, so I just continue to do it. That's an excuse. So if this sister says, shit, heck, we going to go shopping, and not only we don't want to get anything, but we get the vegetables, and now we find them. Have you didn't notice that you go and find, like artichokes, you go and find a particular, maybe some asparagus, you go find certain foods, you come back, it ain't there no more. All of a sudden they out.
Yeah.
They ain't selling it no more. That was the last you got. Now why is that? Now that's getting back to your spirituality. Because the way you think, and the way you view things, and the way this energy, because you're changing and you're co-creating with the Creator. So I'm trying not to go in there. Because I'm feeling the sister, y'all got me on the spiritual, and I'm trying to stay on this other side of stuff. Yes, all these things are ruled by the spirit line. Yes, it is. But once you become knowledge of your portion of it, you're responsible for that. So if you know your tap water got fluoride in it, but you don't care,
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, you broke up on that last one. If you know you got fluoride in your water, what was the rest of?
Oh, you know you got fluoride, and you know this, and you decide to do something simple like go get you a sack and bus, okay? You're going to have an answer for that.
Right.
Because you know better.
Right.
You've been taught better, and that's the thing, accountability. So, the sister bought all that food that's not good? No, that's not the way. And that's what they're doing is, see, the subject matter probably was about, how much money I spent on this food. But the fact of the matter is all that food was probably all processed, so the people are looking at, wow, the food that we get is too expensive. So, the food that we like to get is too expensive, so we get this processed food. You need to get away from that altogether, period.
Right.
We need to learn what we need to do with our blood type and be in cohesiveness with our physical bodies. And we need to change those things. And that's going to help us physically in our minds and so on and so forth. I yield the floor.
All right. What about you, Shekinah? You got anything you want to add on to that?
Yes, but it's really what the brother was saying. It is, at some point, it becomes a choice. A choice to elevate. It really is. It really is a choice. So, a lot of people, we can choose to stay where we are, or we can choose to move to another position. And like the brother was saying, once you know, you know. It's different. Once you know that, okay, all these chips and candy and all these things like that are going to affect my children in a negative way, and if you're still choosing to do that, what the consequences that come with that's what you're choosing. Now, if this is all that you can afford, I still would have to say that a bag of chips is at least $4, right? For a bag of chips, about four. The chips went up, so about $4.50, $4.79 is at least a bag of chips over here, right?
Right.
If I go and I purchase at a farmer's market, instead of a bag of chips, a bag of apples. The bag of apples is probably $2.99. Cucumbers are probably, 3 for $1 or 3 for $2 or something like that. For everything that she got inside of that cart, from what you're saying, for the $150, she would have probably, when we go to the farmer's market, and most areas have some sort of farmer's markets around, I believe, at least around here, there's a couple that we can actually get to, but does everybody go? No. There's not a lot of people that go to the farmer's market. They go to the supermarket and wind up getting food that has pesticides, and they also wind up spending more money for the same food that is not the best for them. In the farmer's market, I can spend $100. Matter of fact, I can spend $60 to $100 to have a cart full of food for between $60 and $100, and it fills up my entire cart for that same amount of food. So for everything that she has inside of her cart, if she was to go to the farmer's market with that same money, I guarantee you, she will have double or triple the bags that she had with just those snacks, those hot dogs and things like that. But it is a choice. It's taking that extra step. And again, I'm speaking from where I am. Taking that extra step and choosing something different. So I don't believe that there's too many people in the world that are ignorant. And ignorant meaning they don't know, that certain foods are going to harm them, or certain foods are not good for you. You're not going to be at your optimal self with eating certain foods. They're going to bring on diseases and illnesses and all these different things. Most people know that. But you have a lot of people that choose this. They don't care. They still in this mentality that they don't deserve it, that they're not, they're not supposed to eat healthy. It's a bougie thing to eat healthy. They don't always see the value in who they are, and loving and understanding who they are, and the greatness and the beauty of who they actually are. So we wind up eating based off of who we think that we are. And our eating habits, a lot of our eating habits are a reflection of who we see ourselves. So if we see ourselves less, we're going to eat less. Because in the world that we live in now, if you have access to social, if you have access to the internet, you can find a way.
Yes, you're right.
If you have access to an internet, you can find how to cook your vegetables and your fruit. You have to be proactive. This is a choice, like the brother said in the beginning. We're doing a lot of this for ourselves. We're killing ourselves. We're killing our children. Let me tell you something. When you work on yourself, is an act of love to your family. Because when you don't work on yourself, I mean, God forbid if something happens to you and somebody now has to wipe your tushy, feed you, take out their time to take care of you because you refuse to make a choice and to go that extra mile to take care of yourself. You're not only holding up yourself from being your best, but you're holding up the family member that's most likely going to try and take care of you and stop their life for you. So it is an act of love, in my personal opinion. I take care of myself, not just so that, my fiance can see something that's appeasing to him, but not just that, but because I love him, because I love my children. Now, if something happens that I can't control, that's different. That's different. But if it's my fault and they know it's my fault because of my own choices, I'm going to have a lot of regret, and they're going to have a lot of regret, even if they don't tell me.
Right.
So at this point, I believe that we need to see it as an act of selfishness. Also, and I'm only speaking with regard to people that can make these movements, people that have a choice. Most of us have a choice to pick this and to pick that. If you're able to be inside of a supermarket, you have a choice. And fruits and vegetables are always cheaper. A bag of chips, just about a $5 bag of chips can buy you a couple of things inside of a farmer's market or even inside the supermarket where you can make yourself something a little bit different. And if you don't know how to do it, let me tell you something. I've had to go on financial fast. And financial fast means that, you use everything in your refrigerator until it's gone and then you buy something else. And sometimes it's because I don't have the funds to do it, to buy anything else. So I work with what I have. And the necessities that we need to have in our house is our beans, our grains. These are things that don't cost a lot. Beans don't cost a lot. You get a bag of beans, and if you cook them right, you go online if you don't know how to, and on a bag of beans, it'll say how to cook them. You can get your protein from there. You can get your complex carbs from there. You can purchase sweet potatoes. You can make yourself something with the yams. You have the sweet potatoes. You have the potato. You have your potatoes, like the brother was saying. You can make smashed potatoes. There's so many things that you can actually do, and so many things that you should just have in your house. Period. Like having beans in your house, having your rice in your house. And I'm not talking about white rice that's going to turn into sugar. I mean, you may have a little bit less of it if you go to if you purchase different kind of rice, or that other kind of rice is going to be better, brown rice or whatever, brown rice, rather than white rice is going to be a little bit better for you.
Right.
So picking your fruits and your spinach doesn't cost a lot. It's like here it's like $1.25 per bunch or something like that. So many things you can do with spinach. I mean, at this point, that young woman that put that on the counter, sometimes we want to stay in the victim mentality. Sometimes we want to stay being the victim. Sometimes we want to, woe is me. This is all that's there. So you tell me in that entire supermarket, all there is hot dogs and chips. Right. And whatever, and soda. That's all that's there. Sometimes I'm going to say for me, right? Because I was a victim for so long, I would create these situations to still make me a victim because I was comfortable there. And it was hard to come out of that. But the more I listened to my higher self, the more something was like, you're trying to be a victim again and you're not in a place to be a victim. You're going to need to make another choice.
Wow.
And the only way to get there is by making a little choice, by little choice, by little choice. Everyone has that other piece in them that says, hey, don't do that. They talk about the good person and the bad person on the each side. That's your higher and lower self. We all have a consciousness. We all have, everyone's common sense is different, of course, right?
Right.
But we all have something that is telling us, this is right, I should be doing this or I shouldn't be doing this, right?
Right.
But sometimes we want to go into that direction that puts us as a victim. We want to choose that. Oh, woe is me, woe is me, woe is me. What as the brother said when we first started. A lot of these things we're putting on ourselves. A lot of these things we're still in this victim mindset. Now, it can be comfortable in that victim mindset, right? It can be comfortable creating those victim situations. But at some point, allow yourself to be empowered and have a little bit of wonder. I wonder, who would I be? What would I become? How would I feel? How would my family feel? How would I move? What would I look like? If I just had a little bit of wonder in myself, what if I just made this other choice? And it is a hard fight. The greatest battle that you will ever have is the battle with yourself. It is the greatest battle. It is the hardest and the greatest battle. But it is a choice to go through that. And it's a hard choice, but only you can make it. So no matter if the brother gives a beautiful class, if a person is not ready, if they're not ready and they don't take advantage of it, they can still find something negative in that class, that beautiful class that he's trying to give. Same thing with my service. I try to see if people are ready. You got to be ready.
Right.
I'm not that person that's going to help you to be ready. You also have to know where you are in your space also. I know that I may not be the person to tie another person's shoes, right? In the situation, I'm the person I'm the person that helps the people that are on the dreaded fork in the road. I don't really know where to go in this particular place. I help you to understand, okay, well, if you choose, you can go down any one of these roads. But you got to make your own choices going down each one of these roads. It's all in you. It's nothing that I can do to make you go down any of those roads and make them more beautiful than the other. It's up to you. It's your choice. So we have to be okay with where we are, with the level that we are in as individuals. And we have to be able to make lead people to make their own choices, not your choice, but lead people to make their own choices and understand that there are going to be some people that are not ready to make the choice yet. And if they're not ready to make the choice yet, it is okay. Because whether, in my opinion, in this lifetime or the next, or the next or the next, they'll eventually get it.
Right.
And that's okay.
That's right. That's right. That's why we all supposed to be here anyways, to help uplift fallen humanity, help our fallen brothers. So it's not all about guiding. Yep. It's all about just lifting them up onto that road. That way they can travel it theyself. So, but now with that being said, you did say something about the farmers market. The farmers market sound like it'd be a great economic trick in this, especially in this time right now with inflation being 8.6% and food prices are going up, and not only just with all that going on, but with the people to be, or them, the man, setting things to where you need finances in order to move forward. Like, I want to ask L, and then I'm going to ask you, Shekinah, to follow him up. What other kind of economic tricks outside of going to like the farmer's market to get food? What other economic tricks can help people, especially like with this housing crisis right now, or with the with people getting their cars repossessed, or so on and so forth? Everybody is finding trouble right now because most of these jobs aren't hiring, or when they hire, they don't want to pay a livable wage. What can be done? What kind of economic tricks can be done right now so that people could start seeing some kind of relief?
Well, one thing is it's not going to be one bullet that's going to kill all. Right? There's no such thing, because the system that they have put us in, that we all are in, no matter what your skin folk is, we all are in this system, and we need to understand that this is a system. This is all done on purpose. So it's not happening to you just because, oh man, I'm black, it's happening to me. I'm white and they got everything going on. No, we all going through the same situation. And
Right.
It's kind of like this. You got to look at some of the patterns that have happened in your life. Your life is a pattern. You look at that pattern. Have you ever been without? I said that earlier. You might have been. Everybody goes through something. I'm not saying you're going to go through something, but there's a pattern. And the spirit realm had to work on me with this too, because I've been fortunate and unfortunate, but the unfortunateness is all in what I consider unfortunate, right? People getting their cars repossessed, people getting their houses taken, people not being able to go get any food, people not finding work or not being in wages that they want. That's all you're talking is all system. So what can you do to get around that? You do have to take an assessment about what's going on in your life. I don't have one bullet going to solve all to get everybody the way out. But I can tell you this right here. There are some things that are in place. There's some paperwork, some IRS stuff that you can do. It ain't going to help you right now at this given moment. But what it does is give you some insight on things like people are waiting on their checks to come from them working. Some people bank on that. They bank on to get them a new car, or they bank on that to get them some furniture, whatever, whatever they choose to do. But there's ways that we're not applying because we never knew. It's not that they're just not doing it, they don't know. We didn't know. So, it's not their fault. We weren't taught that. In schools, we weren't taught the information that I had. A lot of this information is not, I'm saying I have it like no one else has it. I'm not saying that, because you can get this information. You just got to get a mystery. But what I'm saying is his brothers and sisters has been out there that have the information, and they sell you the information in a way that you just ain't going to make it. Or they get the stuff and you caught up in there. There's relief if you know what's going on. If you know how to file your taxes, then you can get the money. Okay, the money you spending on your rent, you can get that back.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't know that. The money that you spending on your car note, you can get that money back. No, you ain't going to get it back next month. You're going to get it, but you got to file the right paperwork with your taxes. So there's things that they're not telling you. And we don't have the arena right now to get into that, but there are ways to do that. And black folk or skin folk want to know, man, did you do this? Have you did it? Can you show me? Because if you ain't did it, then I don't win.
Right.
I did it. Right. All right. So I'm one of them that did it. I didn't do all the stuff I know yet, because you got to deal with the devil one step at a time. It's a system. You just one little leaf blowing past these blades. And believe me, it takes some heart and some go hands and some big ones to walk amongst this, but you got to know what's going on. But the fact is that things you can do, it's like skin folk want instant gratification. You're not going to get it.
Right.
I'm just flat tell you. You're not getting it.
Right.
So if you're looking for a job, you got to go out there and still go get it. You got to look. You got to apply yourself. Ain't nobody coming looking for you. You got to apply yourself. You just got to go. You got to go do it. You got to do your part, period. It ain't no easy fix. But you can do more things that we're not doing, which is bartering or selling amongst each other. Whether we go to these sites and whether you're buying your children's clothes, it might be a site where some sisters and brothers is making some clothes. You know what I mean? You got to do that. If brothers and sisters are selling coffee, or like I do, sell leaves for tea and stuff like that. I mean, it ain't got to be over the top. The fact is that we're giving all the money to the big companies and not helping the other folk out. And that's where the problem comes in too, because they don't want to help each other. We don't want to help each other. We don't want to feel like we helping you come up. If I make you healthier, or give you a way out to help you get some of your funds that you spent all year back, or give you the knowledge that you need to do it, or give you the information you get yourself. I just lead you there. You read the stuff, you do it yourself. You ain't got to pay me to do it. You see what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things that can be done, but it ain't no Band-Aid. It ain't no one bullet gonna shoot off. So what you got to do is change what's going on in your life. You got to take an assessment of what's going on in your world first. Like the sister said, sometimes you gotta take a fast. And fasting ain't just like, not eating. Sometimes it's not drinking certain things, it's not going to certain places. I mean, you just gotta make an assessment in your life.
Right. Okay. And
no
I'm sorry, go ahead. Okay. All right, and L just dropped off, but we're gonna get him right back. Shakana, is there anything that you want to add on with that?
I agree with what the brother was saying. I really believe that we really need to work on supporting each other more and not allowing our egos, portions of our ego, to fight our brother and sister or to keep each other down because we think that somebody's doing something better than us. Once we realize that we are individuals, and that we all have something special about us, we can all be doing the same thing. But
I'm back, y'all. Dr. Dan. Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
No, it's okay, brother. I was saying that I agree with what you were saying. I with that said, I believe that if we once we get to a point of understanding that we are all individuals and that we have something special inside of us as individuals, and that we all individually bring something to the table, we'll stop fighting our brother and our sister, and we'll be more capable of, or we won't feel a threat to assisting and purchasing, and supporting our brothers and our sisters. And I think that that's what it is. We're still in this mindset where we're trying to do better, than our brother and our sister, instead of actually coming together, like the brother was saying. Once we can support each other, it's different. We've then being able to help our brother and our sister if someone is down. We all collectively, or people in our communities that we built, come together and then help our brother and sister, and help our seniors, our elderly, and help, our children, and begin to raise our children as a unit rather than one family raising a child, because it really does take a village to raise a child. We need all parts of us in order to be able to raise, our children, in order to help our households to grow. Our brothers being in a place where they're teaching other brothers leadership. They're teaching how to love, how to be vulnerable, how to keep house, how to be leaders. Because a lot of our brothers are not comfortable with being leaders. They don't believe that they can be a leader because that's what they were taught. They don't realize that they have this resourcefulness inside of them, that they have this creative state, that their creativity can help them to find ways of making money to be able to save the bills and do something, and resolve certain issues. That if they, that our brothers learning how to, or people, us period, teaching financial literacy, teaching us how to save, teaching us how to have emergency funds, putting a little bit away just in case something happens. So these are ways that we are able to, with this takes, again, working on our own home, and through that, having an understanding that we are, that we are supposed to be working as a collective, rather than as individual, and then we'll be able to actually heal and move forward. Because otherwise, I think that it's just going to be, we're just going to keep slapping each other in the face. We're going to keep, like as the brother was saying, okay. So I try to be very honest with where I am. So as the brother was saying something, I don't remember what he was saying, but he was saying something, and I began to feel my ego. So what I have to do is, because now I know myself, I feel my ego, so then what I need to do is I need to make sure that I'm praying that away so that I can actually hear what my brother was saying. And then once I actually heard what he was saying, and then I'm able to move forward, and now we can come together and create this beautiful thing that we're creating today. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
That's how we have to work and how we have to get together. And this is how we begin to work and help each other. So when someone's down, instead of saying, "Oh, he's down," and picking at him because he's down, taking a picture and and posting it on social media, it should be more of a like, "Why are you posting this about our brother?
Right.
Why are you posting this about our brother?
Right.
We need to make that the norm. Why are you showing me this? Is somebody's falling and hurting themselves? Why are you even showing this to me?" It should be a norm for us to lift. It should be a norm for us to lift each other up, for us to help each other. "Oh, he's down. Let's try and find him so that we can, extend some funds to him the best that we can." If one person gives $1, that person can probably get out of a situation.
That's right.
Yeah. So
That's true.
thank you for letting me share my portion.
Oh no, thank you all for coming on, and it has been a wonderful show. I mean, I usually only go on for like an hour, but I dare not stop what we was building tonight, because it was foundation that a lot of people need to get up underneath their feet, because some people do want to change, but like you said, our hardest battles are with ourselves. We don't want to defeat ourselves. We think that we're defeating ourselves rather than thinking that we're upbuilding ourselves. So hearing all of this knowledge come from both a queen and a king, I definitely needed them to hear that from both stands, because you both were in agreement for all the show. So that showed the balance. Like, people always talk about equality, but you two showed the balance. And to think, y'all never met each other before tonight.
Right. Exactly.
So
I'm raising, like I said, I raised the sisters up. I mean, it's fabulous, and yes, we have the different approaches to the same end, and we all want to go the same end, like you're saying. Every situation is going to be different, and everybody's thing is going to be different, and everybody's experience is different, but one thing is in common. We all trying to get there together.
Exactly.
And we have love right here, and we really want to get there. So, hey, if you went over the top of the gate and I went under, hey, as long as we got in there, let's go. Let's
exactly, right? Just open up the gate for the rest of us.
Open the gate up. You in first, girl, get in there over the gate. I don't want to climb up under the gate. Open the gate.
Well, it was
I don't want to go through the mud, but I will.
Right, exactly. It was a wonderful time having you all on. I actually want to take the last couple of minutes. I'll give you both 5 minutes each to, give your last final thoughts on whether you want to give final thoughts on the subject matter for the night, or if you just want to take the time and express, how people can get in touch with you so that they can get some, whether they get some healing or whether they get some financial advice, some financial studies or whatever. How do we get in touch with you? I want to start with Shekinah Juanita L.
Sure. All right, so you can reach me through Instagram at SYMPLI Excellence, or you can actually reach me on my Facebook page, which is under Shekinah Juanita. It actually just says Shekinah Juanita. It doesn't say. It says Shekinah Juanita L. Sorry, I've changed that a couple of times. So you can reach me. You can reach me that way. And my name is spelled CHAKANA. Space, of course, Juanita, WANITA, and then LEL. I would like to say I think that the most important thing for me, or what my mission is to help other people to be liberated, to find your own individual liberation, to love who you are as an individual, to be kind to yourself, to love where you are right now, and who you are right now, and then little by little elevate that. As things come up, you take these tiny baby steps, and you can take the steps of a baby and use that as your formula for your forward steps. So the way I intuitively learned it was, and how I was very kind to myself. I took the steps of a baby, The first thing a baby does when a baby comes out, the baby first opens his eyes, right? The baby's eyes is open. So it's just like us right now, as we're listening, our eyes are becoming open. For those that have not heard, their eyes are becoming open, you know? And then when your eyes are becoming open, because life kind of hits you, and unfortunately that's what these people do, they hit you, right?
Oh, yeah.
So life kind of hits you, and then you have to, you know, you get in this, you cry, right? You're like, oh my goodness, you know, what am I doing here, right? You know, and then the next step is, you know, you go home, you try and get settled, you learn, and you try to kind of learn to pick your head up, you know, and that's the stage. That's a life level, learning to pick your own head up, you know, and then you learn to turn, right, and then you turn in a different direction of life. You pick your head up, you see yourself, you turn into the new direction of life. After you turn in the direction of life, you begin to then move, you begin to crawl, right? And then once you crawl, you try and lift yourself up. And you're crawling, you're lifting yourself up, you fall back down. But babies, they don't give up, right? They lift themselves back up, they fall back down, right? Exactly. They do it again and again, and then eventually they stand. You know, now you're standing on your own 2 feet, and then from standing, you fall again. You try and take a step now. Now you're actually trying to take a step on your own. You fall. But they don't give up. They get back up. And then they fall again. They get back up and they take a step. And then eventually they wind up walking. And then the next step is they're trying to run. Take that and understand that. Treat yourself like that. Understand that that's you when you're turning. When you're first opening up your eyes, you are an infant. Be kind to yourself. And one of the greatest things you can do is to know yourself. Is to allow yourself to be in your own truth and to be okay with who you are as an individual right now. And as you're on that journey, to continue to elevate yourself. Because that, to me, that is the key to our evolution. That is the key to peace and to love one another. When you can understand that you are difficult, that you are complex, that you are strange and weird, you can be a little crazy, that you can be a little odd, you know, that you're different. And when you accept all those things about yourself, and you work on yourself, you work on your ego, you work on that depression, that anxiety, you work on that fear, you work on that self-sabotage, you work on that jealousy, you work on that gluttony. The more you begin to do that, the more you'll begin to run, and you'll be able to grab somebody else's hand and help them, teach them how to walk. You know, I think that this is our key right here, is to be kind to ourselves and to stop bashing ourselves and say, oh, you did this, and yelling and screaming at our brother because they made a mistake. They're just not where you are right now. You were there before too. You once had to open up your eyes.
Yes.
You once had to fall and pull yourself back up. We forget that. We forget that with our children so easily, that they had to go through the same process. We're 40, 50, 60 years old and all of that, and there's some of our children that we're yelling at and cursing at and being mean to and telling them that they should know this and they should know that. They've only been here for 10, 12, 15 years.
Right.
18 years. We have all this experience, and the brain of a child, or at least a boy, does not normally fully develop until they're 21. And we're pulling our children, just throwing them out, you know, to the street. Okay, you handle yourself, but we didn't teach them how to handle themselves. We didn't teach them how to have confidence in who they are. We didn't teach them how to survive and how to live. Now they're just out there like, well, what do I do? And that's why they fail, you know? So the more we learn ourselves, the more we understand other people and where they are, the more we'll be able to have a movement of love and of peace and of justice.
That's beautiful.
Thank you for allowing me to share my portion.
Oh, anytime. We definitely love having you on. Elle, is there anything do you want to take 5 minutes and put out there or how people can get in touch with you, and also give your final thoughts on this?
All right. Can you guys hear me? I'm scared. Last time I was talking and they knocked me, so I know what's going on.
Right, exactly. I was peeping that too. Yeah, we can hear you clear though.
Yeah, we know what it is. Okay. The Petty House, the THEPEDI, your feet, right? Petty House, HOUSE.com, thepettyhouse.com there. That's we call it the Wellness Center and Spiritual Apothecary. We do divination, but we're on the site. You're going to see I wrote, people call them books, but I call them manuscripts. There are 3 of those on there. I'll be uploading, had a redo about the Stand on Your Square because I want to give people some things that they can do that they can actually see. Send them through a process, so I had to realign everything, to send them through a process that they can actually see in their life and they can see a difference. When we're talking about financial things you can do to make your play in this system different. You know what I mean? You're already playing with a group that has a stacked deck, right? The deck is already marked.
Right.
You don't know that. You think it's fair and it's not. And there's a way that we can get in there dealing with that, and I will have that uploaded. That's not there now, but I wanted to change the curriculum, so I want you guys to encourage you to come back to the site, and I'll have that probably up next week. But there you can we do soaps, lotions, of course, pedicures, manicures, that type of thing down here in Corpus Christi. We love our people and we love and enjoy our folk. And I think what vibrates in my heart more than anything else is that our stay here on this planet is starting to be very uncomfortable for a lot of folk that's here, meaning that they're having a hard time. And a hard time is dealing with the way that this system is implemented, and they instinctively know that something is wrong, but you can't put your finger quite on it. You can't figure out what kind of relief can I get. Like I said, if you're paying rent, there's a way to get the money back. If you're paying car notes, there's a way to get the money back.
Right.
You have almost $2 to $4 million of credit that's applied to you based on your Social Security number and stuff like that. And I don't make this a mystery, and I know it's been stuff out there, but we got a way of getting that information to you. You can look it up yourself, Mm-hmm. But the fact is that it's there, and those are the type of things that help us in the long run because, see, we're living day to day, absolutely. But some things we need to do now that's going to help later on and tomorrow. And if we didn't know that, then we're going to stay in that perpetual cycle. And that's what I'm interested in, that along with the spirituality, because we do Himalayan singing bowls, we do the meditation here, we got crystals, and so I'm with the sister, we all that too, but I've found through my journey that people want to see it really happen. They want to see something. Like she talked about, sometimes you had to go out in the middle of the field and pray by itself, and other times you need to pray right there in the middle of the doggone market so that people will get a witness, that people will see that this thing actually is happening, that the thing that I'm telling you is actually a fact. And it feels like my family, your family, is a lot of folk that's out there, and they did really well, and some of them doing terribly, and some of them don't care. Like the sister said, she's not here to hold your hand, walk you through the rainbows. No, that's not what I'm saying to do. But if you don't know, then you can't help.
Right.
And people selling people this stuff.
Oh, man.
And they can't afford that. So how you gonna know? They never taught you. So these are the things, I wanted to get into. So let me look here. I had some notes here. I want to make sure I touch on everything. We talk about tax exemptions, and we talk about loans and mortgages. We can give you the information dealing with that. The Petty House, Morris Traveler is what I do with soaps under, Infused Leaf, what I do teas, and we do our spiritual bags and things for divination that help you clear your house of negative energy and yourself, things of that nature. Let's see what we got here. We got Thumb Drive on here that we got a lot of this information we're talking about. But again, I put that on the site. We're not here to sell stuff. We want people to actually be active, because if you come to the site and leave me an email, we know you're serious. That's what the sister's talking about. Some people not serious. Hey, if you go that far, then I know you're interested, and we can get you the information. If you want to stay there and lay there and cry about your situation and do absolutely nothing and blame everybody else but not do your own thing, that's on you. That's on you. And there's a lot of folk that's here, and there's a lot of folk that's out there that's hurting the people. But on this panel right here, this is not what's happening here. We love everybody. I want to say I shade everybody. I want to say I shade to my relatives that have passed on. I want to say Ashe to those that are listening. I want to say Ashe to the sister, to the brother Eric. Ashe, that's high powers and blessings to you all. Again, thepettyhouse.com. Send an email out to me. We got 800 number. So I can't even hear nobody say, "Oh man, we making it easy for you." But you got to make the move first. We're not going to hold your hand and run through the rainbow. You at least got to come up to the gate and we can get you in here. But, you got to do your part.
That part.
And I want to encourage everybody to stay positive through all the negativity that's been pressed down on us as a planet, that's been pressed down on us as a people, that's been pressed down on us as individuals, that's been pressed down as a woman, pressed down as a man, as a child. Stay encouraged. The source knows the power is changing. We just had the clouds open up last week. Everybody need to look up at the stars. You need to look at the clouds. You need to pay attention to what's going on. It came in here. A lot of power came in last week, and it's still coming in now. But it's powers, and see, we're not getting into that tonight, sister, right? We ain't going to get into that, but it's there. You need to look up. They need to look up. So I'm talking the financial and these things, but it still has a spirituality base. I know what's running this thing, and it is from a higher power and higher source, and it starts with us. So I'm often talking about these things because of what I experienced. That's why I said people want to see practicality. I'm that one. I'm just gonna bring it to you real. If you don't have flashlight, bro, you can have all you want, but you ain't got no batteries. Light ain't coming on, man. I don't care what you do. I don't care how much you meditate on it and all that. I mean, yeah, it's some other levels to that, but we ain't get to that. You don't have no battery, flashlight ain't work.
Right.
Let's just face it. So what do we need to do? We need to make some moves. We need to make some changes. We need to do some things that are going to get this vehicle moving. And the first thing is, if you're tired of being where you are, you need to change that. And that's spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally. And some of it is financing. Some of it is food. Some of it is just being upset where you are. And some of you exceedingly happy and just fine with it. And spread that love in. Because we need it right now. Because right now, it's the darkness over this place, but we have the power to overcome that because we are the light of the world. All of us. And there's people like this sister, people like my wife. These sisters are powerful sisters. And we got to raise these sisters up. We got to love them just like they love us.
Yep.
And Lord knows we can be something else, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah. You're definitely right about that, man.
So, with that being said, we can be something else. They got to deal with the bull and the horns, but all they need is a little towel that hits you on top of the head. It's all over. That's how much power these sisters got. So anyway, let's deal with this last thing was please be aware that there is a silent weapon that's going on, and it's in your face. So just understand that the things that you're going through, whether it's positive or negative, but the things you're going through is not by coincidence. All these things happen. So if you're in a good part of your life, then exalt that and make somebody else happy. It's like if you're in a negative spot in your life, know that it's only for a short period of time, but maybe there's some changes you need to do. And you have to decide what those changes may be, whether it's financial or whether it's whatever it may be, foods or whatever. I mean, that's what you need to do. But be aware that it is not done haphazardly. It's done on purpose. So either you wake up and pay attention to that and make some moves to change that or make some adjustments to the ship, right? Move with a slightly different course. Because we all go through it. None of us are perfect. I go through it, going through it. Everybody is. We're just going through it differently. But here tonight, we all on one accord, Ashe, and we exalt those. So again, I'm in here. Praise to all our ancestors. I thank you for giving us this evening together to spread and to love and to share and to have the heart and courage to stand against this so-called giant, but it's minuscule to us who have the power and for us who have the light. Ashe, Ashe.
I say, man, hey, beautiful, beautiful show. Beautiful. I just want to thank both of you once again for joining us. I have all y'all contact information. I got your Shekinah. I have your Instagram. I have your Facebook up on. So anybody who wants to get in touch with some shamanic Reiki healing, then you can definitely get in touch with Shekinah Juanita L on her Facebook page and on her Instagram page. Right there in the description. Just click the link. And if you're trying to get in touch with Petty House with your boy L, then you definitely go ahead and hit up the number that we got in the description as well. We also have his website, thepettyhouse.com. We also have the Facebook page website. So make sure y'all get in touch with these people. Let's start making some changes. Just want to thank everybody that's listening right now. And I hope, and I know, I ain't gonna hope, I know you gained something from this. Whether you use it or not, hey, at least you got the water in your hand. You can pour it out or you can drink it. It's up to you. So I hope you drink it, and I hope you come back, because we will definitely have both of these backwater. I want this to be a continuous thing because there's so much knowledge. We couldn't even break down everything tonight. So in the future shows, we're going to pick one of these topics out of this show, and hopefully we can get them to break it down some more. You know? And we're going to, I definitely.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sorry, go ahead, L.
No, brother. I'm just with you. Go ahead, bro.
Okay. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and we got almost down. We up under 5 minutes left, and I got to go ahead and put the outro in. So y'all already know y'all can find this episode or Revolutionary Hour on our website at sbcmovement.com. You can also find us on Spotify, iHeart, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Deezer, and more. So all you have to do is find us on your favorite streaming service and go ahead and like and subscribe. You can go to our website at Spreaker.com/user/MR_E. That way you can go ahead and get the rest of the knowledge, check out our previous shows, and get ready for the new ones that's coming. Right now, what you listening to is Dandara, straight from South Africa, with the reggae on, you know what I'm talking about? Because reggae always has the tunes, they have the vibrations that build you up. So definitely tune in, turn up, zone out. This is Mr. E with the Queen Shekinah Juanita L, and with the King L. So y'all make sure y'all reach out to him. This is Mr. E, and we out, baby. You already know this is.
Was laid down by Jah, only love on my mind. Say life is a blessing and there is a lesson. We run all the sessions, say Jah my protection.
In the city here the lion roar. From the jungle you can hear my call. On the battlegrounds where the giants fall. To the rumble of the lions roar. Say the wind blow cold. In the city here the lion roar. From the jungle you can hear my call. On the battlegrounds where the giants fall. To the rumble of the lions roar.
Man, I'm walking like a lion through Zion. My team fearless, descended from the stars like we finna build some pyramids. Jah designing our heart of mine. I type so hard, if I'ma give him time, a man will tell you anything, you give him wine. But I'm aligned, sitting at the foot of the throne. Main goal, same old, by to get in my goal. Move slow, but Jah know it's a lonely road. I got love for my people that can see my soul. Now let's go.
In the city here the lion roar. From the jungle you can hear my call. On the battlegrounds where the giants fall. To the rumble of the lions roar. Say the wind blow cold. In the city here the lion roar. From the jungle you can hear my call. On the battlegrounds where the giants fall. To the rumble of the lions roar. Say the wind blow cold. As the sun sets low on the life that you know. Say the nighttime fall. As the birds sing songs, say the king is around. Can you feel my roar? This a champion sound, Rasta man have the crown. Say the wind blow cold. As the sun sets low on the life that you know.
Can you feel my roar?
In the city here the lion roar. From the jungle you can hear my call. On the battlegrounds where the giants fall. To the rumble of the lions roar. Say the wind blow cold. In the city here the lion roar. From the jungle you can hear my call. On the battlegrounds where the giants fall. To the rumble of the lions roar. Say the wind blow cold.
BOSS Radio.